the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. Couldn't hear myself. See, so Jason keeps it pretty low. Meanwhile, Dave tries to blow my little ears out. So I'm hearing myself now. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And basketball is back in action. The Celtics and Nuggets are playing right now. And respect to basketball, man. You know, people talk about load management, things like that. They're out there, Chris. The Stars are out. It's the second quarter, over halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah.
And they're out there in Abu Dhabi, and the Stars are playing. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, they're all playing. Jokic is out there, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, the whole crew, Michael Porter Jr. So shout out to the NBA. I mean, you know, I don't think as many people we've talked about this pay as much attention to the NBA preseason, but it is a little bit of something to pay attention to because they'll be out there. And I was asking you, Chris, how many of the preseason games you'll be at for the Kings, and you said you'll be at both. I'll probably be at both as well. So we're gonna see some version of what we've been looking to see. DeMar DeRozan, the whole crew, the picture that went viral with that close of 5. We're gonna see some of that. So it's an exciting time if you are a Sacramento Kings fan, and also if you are a Niners fan, because John Lynch, Chris, he just can't let it be. He cannot let it be. Yeah. This is as of a couple, maybe 30 minutes ago, maybe a couple hours ago, where he was on the Niners flagship. And when asked about Devontae Adams, Chris, the quote was never say never.
Right.
Never say never. Now, in about 10 minutes, we're going to break down, is there a world where this isn't about Brandon Ayuk?
Right.
Because I don't think so. I do not think so, but maybe it's possible. Again, the only team where we bring up 3-team deals, the San Francisco 49ers. So we will break all of that down in about 10 minutes. We are tying a bow on the best of our exclusive interviews. We have Keon Ellis. You definitely don't want to miss that. That's at 11. We're also playing Jalen McDaniels at 11. That's going to go back to back. And we have Jordan McLaughlin as well. So you do not want to miss those interviews. If you missed them the first go round, Jordan McLaughlin and Trey Lyles actually will be at 12 o'clock. So we have that for you at 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. If you missed it, Domantas Sabonis was asked about Draymond Green and the stomp heard around the world. Is that the best rivalry in sports? And speaking of rivalries, Chris, I think I said this yesterday. Major League Baseball, there could be much worse situations, Chris. I mean, I know you have the Tigers and Guardians. Hey, that's going to be a rough one. And you got in the AL, right? In the AL, It's a little rough. Tigers and Guardians, Royals and Yankees. But Chris, in the NL, you are not going to want to miss Mets at Phillies. You got the division there. And what I like to call baseball's version of Kings Warriors, you have Padres at Dodgers, or Padres against the Dodgers. That's going to be must-see TV. And like we said, if you're looking, but the problem is now, Chris, if you are looking at the possibilities, if you're Rob Manfred, you're looking at baseball, the AL is carrying a lot.
Well, we'll see how it ends up panning out.
It's only the Yankees.
If it ends up being Royals against Tigers in the ALCS.
The good thing is the NL has 4 strong brands.
You're going to be good on that side, right?
Tigers, Guardians, no disrespect.
Sorry,
but that's just bad either way. Royals, the problem is Royals, Yankees, so you're eliminating Bobby Witt Jr.
Sure.
Or obviously
you
the
would
Yankees.
Much rather have the Yankees.
Oh, there's
from
no
the
question.
MLB perspective.
I'm just saying it would be better if it was Royals, Guardians.
Yes, absolutely.
And then maybe you could get that matchup.
Right.
So the worst case scenario, in my opinion,
the most baseball outcome possible.
The worst case scenario.
Let's not forget last year's World Series.
Who do you think is a smaller brand? And this is no disrespect. Tigers or Guardians?
I think the smaller, probably. I would probably say the Tigers, just because I don't think anyone
I think
like
so
the Guardians
too.
have at least been consistently good.
Yeah,
Tigers.
And it's
They have
Cleveland.
literally the Tigers thing this year is we have no stars. Isn't that great? And
Right.
It's like, no, it's really not for me.
They're not supposed to be here. I saw
Yeah.
something on, I think it was Action Network, and somebody laid down some cheese because the Tigers, they weren't even supposed to be in
They
the
were like
playoffs.
8 games below 500.
They got
and then they
red
go like
hot.
30 and 13.
They're the
or something.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
This is more surprising than the Diamondbacks if they pull it off.
Yeah.
So I think worst case scenario would be Tigers Padres, because Mets bigger brand, Phillies bigger brand,
Mets,
Dodgers
Phillies,
bigger brand.
right? Yeah, I would say so. Right?
They are praying for anything but Tigers Padres or Guardians Padres.
I would think so. Yeah, that because like you said, I mean, yeah, if you get the Mets in there, still New York, I think you're going to get a lot of people feeling good about the Mets back at the top. Phillies, obviously, they've just been incredibly successful. You got Bryce, you got the names that you know. Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That feels like it's probably not likely, but I think the Tigers, with how they're playing right now, they're playing really well. The Guardians, it's not like they're world beaters or anything like that. It definitely could happen. I think especially if the Yankees get upset. Anything is possible in these baseball playoffs. The Tigers run is starting to kind of remind me of that Rockies run from way back when they got hot out of nowhere, and it was like they didn't lose a postseason game until I think they went to the World Series. I think they got swept by the Red Sox, but I mean it could shape up for a really, really bad World Series, but I assume the one that if I had to guess based off of
best case, you talking about best case scenario?
Best case would probably be Phillies, Yankees.
I think
definitely Yankees for sure.
That's what I want to watch.
Yeah,
but it's the best case scenario.
Dodgers, right? I'm sorry.
Best case scenario for the
Dodgers, of course.
For Major League Baseball is Yankees Dodgers.
Of course,
there's no question
about it.
Yeah, and then besides, actually, if the Yankees take care of business, your three, I guess Yankees Padres would be the worst.
The Padres are a fine option. You still get Fernando Tatis. I think Machado as well. I think you still have some excitement there, and San Diego's not small.
But besides San Diego, if you get Yankees Mets, obviously Subway Series.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even consider that. That'd be incredible.
Yankees Phillies, two huge brands, and then Yankees Dodgers is you always see that show on the uncivil
Lakers,
war.
Celtics right there.
Yeah, because Dodgers time in Brooklyn. So hopefully, no disrespect to the Tigers, the Guardians, or the Royals. As a baseball fan who wants baseball to be paid attention to, I think Aaron Judge can, really pull people in along with Juan Soto and his personality. So it sounds crazy. I don't normally do this, but I am rooting for the Yankees to at least get to the World Series. Then they can lose. They don't need to win the World Series. Just get to the World Series. And speaking of teams doing things that we haven't seen, guys, I mean, should we just decide to no longer mess with prop talk on Thursdays? I mean, who could pick this? I thought it was no offense on Thursdays.
I did.
Yesterday was an offensive explosion.
Insane.
Offensive
explosion. All it was.
Everybody hit.
Yeah.
Every wide
all
receiver.
The overs hit at
all
least.
the overs hit. All the overs hit, besides, of course, the one that I picked, but all the wide receivers, they hit, man. I mean, Darnell Mooney, you have Kirk Cousins putting up 500 yards, Chris. And Baker was no slouch either.
Was great. Yeah,
that was one of the best Thursday, as we just talked about how bad Thursday Night Football is. Probably one of the best Thursday Night Football games I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was incredibly entertaining. Like, for all you defensive lovers out there, definitely wasn't great. But, like, you had two guys slinging the ball all across the field. Like you said, Kirk had 500 yards. I think Baker threw for 3 touchdowns. You had some excitement, too. Like, Kirk throws the interception. You think the game's over. They then come – and then there's a fumble from the Bucs side. Kirk makes a comeback. It goes into overtime. That's really everything you want from a football game, man. Like, I think – you had the full range of emotions and you have big plays left and right. You got, Darnell Mooney out here looking like he's Juwan Jennings or something. It was a really great game, really entertaining. And I mean, hopefully we get more of that on Thursday. I don't really know what led to it. But maybe it is just as simple as, we've kind of been joking about it, but they been calling the first month of the season preseason. Yesterday did look a little bit, especially from the Falcons side of things. Of course, you throw 500 yards, you're going to look good, but that was the first time where Kirk actually looked comfortable. I recognized Minnesota Kirk Cousins in yesterday's game, and that's probably the first time I've seen him look like that in Atlanta so far.
Well, and maybe it's just not enough of us understanding that this stuff takes time.
Sure.
Right. So we thought that Kirk Cousins, he's been there throughout preseason and in training camp, so he must be ready to go.
Right.
No, you need to get real live reps and these guys in different places. And maybe there's a little bit of that going on. in New York / New Jersey with the Jets, right?
Sure.
Maybe it's where we're calling it too soon with the Jets, and maybe it'll click for them. I think Kirk Cousins has a lot more weapons than the Jets, but same idea there. I mean, everybody that you've been hoping to ball out, if you've been taking the overs or your fantasy, Drake London showed up.
Incredible.
Kyle Pitts showed up.
My God, don't
out of nowhere. Why, is he on your bench?
No, I mean, I started him, but I picked him for our prop talk. And
you went under. That's right.
I sure did. I went under 30 yards. And what did he do? The first catch of the game, he had 32. So that was awesome. And a very Kyle Pitts game. I mean, I did have him in a couple. I do have him as my fantasy tight end in a couple leagues. And this was the ultimate Kyle Pitts game, because I was at the point where, we're a month in, and I'm like, I can't just ride this guy all season long and just hope he eventually pops out. So I was like, this is the week, Kyle. I'm going to play you one more week. And if you don't do anything, I'm cutting you. I'm not putting you on the bench.
Right.
I just need to be done. If someone picks you up and you go off the rest of the season,
fine.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them, because I can't ride the ride anymore. And what does he do but have 6 catches, 88 yards, a career high or whatever, best since his rookie year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the worst. This is the absolute worst. If you're going to suck, just suck.
Right.
But to give me that little bit of hope, Kyle Pitts is just in my fantasy burn book for sure.
Yeah, and the Falcons in general, these teams, I would put the Falcons, and I've had the Niners here. If they're prop talk or fantasy, whatever it is, these are the teams that I think you should stay away from, because there's too many options and you just don't know.
Right.
Not to say don't take them. It's more so for prop talk than fantasy, but I'm putting the Falcons in there, too many options. I'm putting the Texans in there, too many options. And like I said, I'm putting the Niners in there as well, because you just don't know. So you're truly guessing. I picked Debo and it's Ayuk. You pick Kittle and it's Debo. So those are the teams where electric offenses, but I like the Lions of the world. You know who's going to go off for the Lions. Right. You don't know. I would put the Bills here just because they have a bunch of number 2 receivers, right? So you just don't know what's going to happen. We also have Mike Epps tickets. That's at 11:30. So you're going to want a chance to win those. Chris, real quick, I got to say this. I was trying to figure it out when you came in to do celebrity birthdays. I was trying to figure it out with Nate, and I wanted to say this correctly. Okay. But I do have a theory on something, and we're going to wait for the other side, but I want to get your thoughts on this theory. When the broadcast highlights something, you should stay away from that team. I'll tell you what it is when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your sunroof is closed first before driving through the car wash.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no. Wait, whoa.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We have the Pete Alonso audio for you. We're going to play that, then we're going to get into this John Lynch conversation about never say never. That's the quote. when referring to Devontae Adams. But I thought about this, guys. It's Friday, so we're going to have a little bit of fun. Promise we won't go too off the rails if our boss is listening. But I was thinking about this, Chris, and I was trying to figure it out with Nate.
Okay.
And I've decided, I'm not saying this is a very unique thought process, but yesterday, as Baker is walking in, and I don't know the win-loss column on this, but as Baker is walking in, if I'm not mistaken, he walked in with a Mamba shirt. It was a Kobe Bryant shirt, something like that. The broadcast highlighted it, and I thought in my mind, I'm going to keep this in the back of my mind just in case the Bucs lose. My theory is that whenever a broadcast highlights someone's outfit or speaks about someone's outfit, they tend to lose that game. Last week, Carson Beck, and this one is a terrible one. He wore the all black. Okay. He did the all black thing. Bama beats Georgia.
Okay.
I'm just saying, for those out there, when outfits get highlighted or there's a specific theme to an outfit, stay away. Stay away. That's my theory.
Okay. Yeah, you've said a lot of things on this show. That was definitely the most insane thing you've ever said. That by far was the most nonsensical thing you've ever said.
How do you figure? You don't feel like that?
No, I will say that I do not feel like when broadcasters highlight athletes' outfits walking into the game, they tend to. I mean, I will also say, not really something I've ever super paid attention to or tracked. But no, I can't. I can't say Nate, that I will co-sign.
Nate,
that.
am I alone on this? I don't like that face, Nate.
I just think highlighting an outfit is weird. Like I just don't.
It's not me doing it. It's the broadcast doing it. And here comes Baker Mayfield with his sporting a Kobe Bryant shirt today. So it's
something I'm going to pay attention to in the future now. Something I haven't been locked in on before.
Maybe we could keep a tally.
You can.
Maybe
you can definitely keep a tally if you want to keep track of that.
And you probably won't, and that's okay.
And even if you do, I kind of don't think it. I don't think it's going to prove what you think it's going to prove.
Okay. All right. I said,
I've been keeping track. 7-1 this year when they highlight the outfit.
Well, they're 0. They're 0-2 this. It was NFL and college, but I'm seeing 0-2. Okay, 0-2. So 916-339-1140. Am I crazy? All right.
To say that, yeah. That it affects the results of the game.
I'm not saying it affects the result. It's just something that I've noticed.
And you said they're 0-2.
I'm just saying it's a jinx. It's like a Madden curse. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not very superstitious, though.
Well, baseball players are extremely superstitious. I still, when I'm jogging, I will jog over the lines on the sidewalk.
Like you don't step on the crack to.
And if I step on a line, then I have to step on the line with my other foot. Maybe that's why I injured myself. Maybe that's why I injured myself. I'm running like an idiot. Maybe that's what's going on. Nate, let's go to, you have the Pete Alonso sound. Let's go to how this is from the Mets broadcast yesterday. Just gave me chills. Pete Alonso, and I've been hard on Pete Alonso because I feel like you only see him during the home run derby, but this is how you show up when it's time to show up. He's screaming, running down first base. I mean, I thought it was just a great scene. I feel bad for the fans in Milwaukee, but it gave all of us objective fans something really cool to watch and listen to. Here it is.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Fielded back at the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career. Pumps his fist as he rounds second. It's a 3-run homer. He's given the Mets a 3-2 lead. They all pour out of the dugout. Alonso on his way to home plate. They're waiting.
Great stuff there on the call. Pete Alonso, go ahead, home run, Chris. And I think it was number 1 on SportsCenter top plays. Oppo Taco.
Crazy.
And the first thing I'm seeing is, and people love to do this, Pete Alonso has been rumored to be leaving the Mets, and then I think they shut it down.
Trade block too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then they shut it down and say, no, we're not selling. And everybody's saying, can't wait to see him in the black and orange next season. Okay. All right. I mean, I'll take. Look,
it'll be a first baseman that hits home runs, which is a nice change of pace from Brandon Belt.
Well, I was gonna say, as much as I've given Pete Alonso a hard time. No disrespect, Lamont Wade, but I would definitely take that situation over the other. We are about to get into this John Lynch conversation. So here we go. From the 925. So if a player from both sides gets shown their outfits, will it be a tie? Okay, there's a
nice little double entendre.
Yes, there's definitely a flaw. All right. Jeez. 916 says Joe Burrow's outfit is mentioned basically every Sunday, and he went to the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's definitely not a factor. I see Joe Burrow get highlighted a lot this year, and there's not a lot of wins. Not a lot of wins for the Bengals.
It definitely doesn't really work for the NBA because they show
everybody's
fit.
No, but it's a theme, Chris. It's a theme. It's a theme. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something outrageous.
We have to see if Kyle Kuzma lost when he whipped out that sweater. You know, when he brought out that pink sweater.
Did you see when they kept making it longer and longer?
No, I didn't. But that's one of the big reasons why I'm glad Kuzma's not on the Kings. Is just see, for that reason exactly. So maybe you're gonna really be on the anti-Kuzma to Kings train because you're like, look, we can't have this guy showing off his outfits before these TNT games.
That's right.
That's a guaranteed L.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of crazy. I wonder where, because remember there was the texter who would always get on you about being the Kyle Kuzma guy.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That person is all over. I swear it's only one person because they will bring it up in random tweets that I have. Like, it's just so random.
It's your fan. You have a fan.
It's insane.
We haven't talked about Kyle Kuzma in so long.
Really long. Like, it's been probably 2 to 3 months.
Let me ask you a question. Fast forward, just your guess. Fast forward a couple months from now, trade deadline is upon us. Is Stiles and Watkins having Kyle Kuzma conversations? Or do you think we finally have put it to bed?
It's probably quieted for, I think it's probably done for the time being. I would think so. Because even at the trade deadline, this trade deadline, it feels like it would be hard for me to imagine, unless Keegan goes down or unless DeMar goes down, that they're going to say that we need a wing that high level.
Right.
If that makes it. Like,
we need wing depth, but
it's Kyle's
it's
a starter.
It's the center conversation. We can't get this center
exactly
because that center is essentially too good for what we need.
100%.
Or we're not going to be able to give them what they need.
Exactly. Yeah. I just can't see a scenario in which at this point with DeMar, because I think that's why we've stopped bringing up his name, is because we have DeMar now. And that was definitely in the pre-DeMar conversation. It just doesn't really, I mean, some are screaming at the radio, it never made sense.
Right.
But now it really makes absolutely no sense for them unless again, like DeMar just shows a lot more signs of age than what I think we all think.
You move him to the 2.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, exactly.
Keon takes a step back and Herter isn't back where he needs to be, and you got to move DeMar to the 2. But I personally think it's done. I think it's done, but to the texter's chagrin, maybe it will return.
We're talking about him now, so maybe
that's right.
Maybe
please
just reset the clock.
It's like Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice,
exactly.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, third time.
There you go. Coming up next, we have what John Lynch had to say about Devontae Adams. Is there any way this could get done without Brandon Ayuk? Is John Lynch taking a shot at Brandon Ayuk? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Hey, October's already heating up on the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. Enjoy family fun at Dave's Pumpkin Patch in West Sacramento all month long. Pick your perfect pumpkin, navigate the corn maze, jump on a massive jumping pillow, and create unforgettable memories for the kids. On October 20th, don't miss Renee Vaca at the Crest Theater for a night of laughs and entertainment. And mark your calendar for Sinners and Saints, the region's best Halloween party on October 26th at the venue at Thunder Valley, complete with a $5,000 costume contest. It's the most spooktacular event of the season. Looking ahead into November, join us for Legends of Motown at the venue at Thunder Valley November 23rd, bringing you the classic hits that defined a generation. And you're not going to want to miss the Jersey Boys Midtown Men Holiday Show December 8th, also at the venue at Thunder Valley. It's going to be a night filled with festive cheer and old school classics. And stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for all your live event updates and your chance to win tickets.
You've seen him on the roast of Tom Brady, and you've heard him host the #1 podcast in the world, Kill Tony. Now see Tony Hinchcliffe perform stand-up comedy live at the venue at Thunder Valley, Friday, October 11th. The man behind millions of views worldwide and countless sold-out shows brings his stand-up set to you, Tony Hinchcliffe. Critics call him a must-see. Don't miss this stand-up comedian, writer, podcast host, and professional wordsmith live in Sacramento. Tony Hinchcliffe. Get tickets at ThunderValleyResort.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting their focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
$11:30. Mike Epps tickets. Mike Epps is back in Sacramento. Wipe me down. 11 o'clock, Keon Ellis interview and Jalen McDaniels interview. See, just like we were talking about yesterday, this is a throwback now. This is a throwback.
This is definitely a throwback.
This is like 20 years old, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Let me see. Let's see.
Don't say
Uzi came out in 2007.
Oh,
almost.
Yeah.
Dang, I thought it was earlier.
That was junior year. Woo-hoo, high school with my Vans on, but they looked like sneakers.
Hey now.
Mm-hmm. With my polo.
This song's so good.
It's no Juicy J.
Very
right.
much of the same, yeah. It could have been a Juicy J song. Sure.
There is a world where
Sure.
he hopped on the remix or something.
This
All
is
right.
like what Boosie's known for too, right? Because I'm
It's
just
one
trying
of
to
the
figure out
biggest
if we could eliminate this song, like, are we eliminate? Boosie's hilarious, but I don't necessarily know if.
Let me think about it, but it's definitely
Boosie.
one of his biggest ones. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definily one of his
I could
biggest
have gone
ones.
without it. He's really, really funny, but he's just also
It's a lot.
not.
It's not a political show.
Yeah.
I think it is now.
No, it's not. All right,
November's
Nate.
right around the corner.
Let's get to this John Lynch. So Nate, he dug into the archives to find this John Lynch sound, and basically John Lynch earlier this morning was asked about Davante Adams, and this is what he had to say.
Are the Niners going to call the Raiders about Davante Adams?
We like our group, and Davante's a hell of a player. One thing we've shown is that we're always looking. We're never afraid to look and see what's out there. We're never afraid to pull the trigger. But I think coming in this year, we feel like our roster's in a pretty good spot. We have endured some injuries, but we'll never say never. And if someone can. It's got to work. It's got to work for both sides, but it's got to work for us. And, I won't comment on any specific player, but right now we like where our roster's at.
Okay, so that's why, and thank you, Nate, because it wasn't easy to find that audio, but the quote is going everywhere. Hearing him,
the never say never part. Is what I assume is
yes,
getting
exactly.
aggravated.
Hearing that, it seemed less spicy than when I initially read it.
No, the end is what gets me. I'm not going to name a specific player.
That was weird.
That is
weird.
That is the spicy part to me.
Yes, that
for sure.
was weird.
Because that's feels like, and you make up narratives in your head, that feels like he's talking about Brandon Ayuk just not being satisfied with his play.
Yeah.
After paying him all that money, but they should expect that by now. This is the third time.
Maybe I heard it wrong, but I heard that as I'm not going to comment on a specific player being Devontae Adams because he's not trying to get tampering allegation.
Oh, okay.
That's what, like, he's not going to specifically say, yeah, we're interested in getting after Devontae Adams. That's what I heard it as. I don't want to address specific players.
Nate, we got time.
Yeah,
run it back.
You want the whole thing?
Yeah.
It was short.
Yeah, 30 seconds here. Let's
Friday.
do it. Different mindset this time.
Sure.
Are the Niners going to call the Raiders about Devontae Adams?
We like our group, and Devontae's a hell of a player. One thing we've shown is that we're always looking. We're never afraid to look and see what's out there. We're never afraid to pull the trigger. But I think coming in this year, we feel like our roster's in a pretty good spot. We have endured some injuries, but we'll never say never. And if someone can, it's got to work. It's got to work for both sides, but it's got to work for us. And I won't comment on any specific player, but right now we like where our roster's at.
A little ambiguous. Little open.
I don't know who's right between the two of you
Yeah,
because he says Devontae,
right?
But you can
then later says I won't comment on it. So what?
You can compliment another player.
He already did.
Yeah,
he already did in that same breath.
That's what I'm saying. You can be like Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback on the field right now. Like you're allowed to say that when you're going against the Jets or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like taking a step back from my position. Like it's a lot more open than what I initially thought.
If I were to pick a side, I would probably err on the side of you, Chris.
I mean,
that
I would also
it
assume that
was
he's not bashing.
Yes, that it was. I'm not trying.
or
I've already said he's a heck of a player.
Right.
I don't want to go. I don't want to do anything more. So let me dial it back. Right.
I've already gotten the headline.
I've already gotten the headline. Let me dial it back versus. We're not going to comment on maybe moving off of trash Brandon Ayuk because he's been literally the worst wide receiver on our roster, but we're paying him the most money.
Like I'm not going to say that.
I'm not going to say that, but this is me saying it.
But he's really bad. Like maybe in another world, I'd say he's like really bad and not worth the money. He shouldn't drop that touchdown week 1. And,
right.
It doesn't matter. He's leading the league in separation.
Yeah. Did I think going into the season that our number 4 receiver would be receiving $30 million? No. But I'm not going to comment on that. I just wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and why is our receiver making $10 million breaking records that Jerry Rice held? That just doesn't make any sense.
But this is what we do, man. We drafted Kittle.
And I wouldn't say
that.
Round, Fred Warner.
Hey, Brock Purdy.
Who might not play this week.
Just say names. Yeah. Just say late draft names. Whenever the Niners front office gets in trouble, they just say names.
Who fun?
Yeah,
Fred Warner.
We miss on Trey, but Brock and Trey
Steve
Sermon,
Young.
Trey Sermon, but Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
We got guys, man.
Frank Gore's in the front office.
Yeah, Frank Gore. Tariq Owens.
We're starting to turn things around.
We got guys. Yeah, listening to it a couple times now, I don't think he was trying to send a message to Brandon Ayuk. When I first saw the quotes, I thought that might be the case, but the never say never was so laissez-faire. I don't think it was meant to be a shot at Ayuk. I will say this though. This to me, we're getting to the point now, and it's kind of like with Kyle Pitts, and it's crazy to put Brandon Ayuk and Kyle Pitts into the same conversation.
Yikes.
Every single week, I'm thinking he gets into the end zone this week. And we're on week 5 now, guys. Yeah. And I'm doing it again. This week is the monster week for Brandon Ayuk. But do I believe it truly? I don't know. I've been saying it every week, so I guess I have to. But at some point, you got Debo back, so it's not. You're not getting that same attention. I really don't. But I have to double check film. But you got Kittle, you got Debo. Jawan Jennings is now on scouting reports.
100%.
So what are we gonna do here, brother? When is it gonna happen?
It needs to, I mean, like you said, I mean, if it's ever going to be ever, it needs to be these next couple weeks where, like you said, Juwan Jennings is on people's scouting reports. Even if he is the third receiver on paper, when he's on the field, people are going to pay massive attention to him because it's no longer third and Juwan. It is now any play they could throw it deep to him, and he's clearly shown the ability to go get it. Like, it's got to create a really open opportunity for Brandon Ayuk. Like, if he's going to get it, as little attention as he has gotten in this offense in probably 2 years from a defensive standpoint, he's got to capitalize on it. And, it's fine that it's got to come when apparently it's the easiest for him because of all the attention on other guys. But at this point, you're just trying to get his confidence up. You want him feeling good about himself. The weird video last week, or was it earlier this week, of him kicking off the shorts Friday. And stuff. Yeah. It's like, it just feels like he kind of needs to get the train back on track. And, it would be a good opportunity this week. But I don't know if I see it happening. I don't know if I feel confident anymore that it's going to happen, just because, Juwan Jennings has looked great. Why go away from him? Deebo Samuel looked great right before he got hurt. And Jordan Mason's leading the league in carries. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen this season for Ayuk how we expect it to. He might just be another cog in the wheel, but it's definitely not a good situation. And we think as well, if it's going to be Davante Adams, it just in the complete hypothetical, because I honestly don't think it's going to happen, but if Davante Adams is going to get traded to the Niners, it has to be for Brandon Ayuk, right? Because they have too many receivers. Like, if you're going to bring in Davante Adams, it makes no sense to boot Juwan Jennings, who's having a career year. Ricky Pearsall's coming back. It just makes no sense to keep, or just to add Davante to the receiver list. Right. You probably have to ship one of them off.
Well, because I don't know why the Raiders, no disrespect whatsoever, but I don't know why the Raiders would want Deebo.
No idea.
Because Deebo, the whole thing was that they were possibly there's an out next season. So that's why a lot of people thought you signed Brandon Ayuk and Deebo that's why initially the idea was you bring in Ricky Pearsall, they all rock together regardless. Before Ricky was shot, they all rock together anyway. And then moving forward, Deebo, thank you for your service. And then we just rock and roll with Ricky and Brandon Ayuk. That was the initial thought process. So because of that, I don't see the Raiders nobody's going to want Deebo right now. I don't see that. Chris, you want to hear something insane?
Please.
Okay. Top 5 NFL player receiving sets in 2024. Nico Collins, number 1. Chris Godwin, number 2. Malik Neighbors, number 3. DK Metcalf, number 4. Juwan Jennings, number 5.
What is that? That's for receiving
just total yards.
Oh, okay.
Total receiving yards. You have Brandon Ayuk at number 53.
I mean, how is he?
Now this is just everyone. So it's not just wide receivers. It's running backs, it's tight ends. He's number 53, brother.
And you said earlier, I don't know if you were just throwing the number out, but he's the 4th leading receiver on the Niners right now?
No, I was just teasing.
I think that might be right. I mean,
he still has more yards than George Kittle by 6. He's got 6 more yards than George Kittle.
One less game. Kittle played one less game, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's crazy.
Deebo is number 30 on this list. Deebo is number 30 on this list.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, like you said, he's getting paid $30 million a year, and I'm looking at it here. He's 3rd on the team in receiving yards, but like you said, he's 6 above George Kittle, who played 1 less game. I mean, it's just you just can't have that. I mean, you need more out of that guy, and I'm looking at it now too. Their only receiving touchdowns this year have been 3 from Juwan Jennings in that week against the Rams, and then George Kittle has 2 of them. It's just those guys have not, and granted they've pounded the rock a little bit with Jordan Mason in those situations, but I think you clearly just need more out of this receiving group. This receiving group was supposed to be top 5 in the NFL, and right now the 3rd receiver, the guy who wasn't even really thought of in the receiving core, is leading everybody, and it doesn't look like it's an anomaly. He looks incredible. And like Juwan Jennings just straight up looks like a better receiver than Brandon Ayuk right now. And I didn't think that was the case, but I mean, you take this even all the way back to last year in the Super Bowl. Juwan Jennings is the one who's getting all the calls and everything like that. I know you have the fluke to Ayuk, but it really feels like maybe again, like we talk about with the NBA Western Conference, maybe the Niners receiving core is a little bit more even than what we kind of have talked about it as.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the other side, because I am wondering, and I don't mean to do the media thing, but that is kind of what we do. I'm just imagining this, man, just in terms of any awkwardness in the locker room, because it's odd. You can't hide. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. You can do the decoy stuff all you want, but I'm going to go Chris Watkins here with this one. You're supposed to be elite.
Yes.
You're supposed to be elite.
Yeah.
You're not facing prime Revis Island and Richard Sherman every week. Right. Figure it out if you're elite. You're worth you're getting paid $30 million, and you're swinging. You're swinging in the chair like a little kid and kicking shorts.
I don't know many elite decoys. I'll tell you that.
Talk about it. All right. We will get into maybe the awkwardness in that locker room. MVP Purdy. Mina Kimes has some things to say about one Brock Purdy. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow. Sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Shop fall savings at Big O Tires now through October 13th and buy 3, get 1 free on 4 select in-stock tires with installation and alignment purchase on all 4 tires. And with plenty of inventory now in stock, Big O has the tires to fit almost every car, SUV, and light truck on the road. Don't miss the buy 3, get 1 tire free sale this week. Offer good while supplies last. Disposal fees extra. Not valid with other offers. See participating Big O dealer for details.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Is John Lynch sending a message to Brandon Ayuk? Never say never. Well, we know it ain't going to be Debo because the Raiders wouldn't want Debo. Those timelines don't add up. But he said never say never when he was asked straight up this morning about Davante Adams and the San Francisco 49ers. Well, you know, I've never been in a position where there's money involved, Chris. The closest thing I can compare it to is scholarship athletes versus walk-ons. And off the top of my head, I mean, there was a time where there was a walk-on starting. I mean, there are situations where a walk-on starts over a scholarship guy,
for
right?
sure.
When I was at Temple, and it's not as awkward because number one, the coaches are just thinking, I got to win, right? But it's different in at the pro level because yes, you got to win, but you're affecting our ability to do other things. And this is literally coming out of our pocket. You know what I mean? If you have if it's a guy who, all right, if it's a junior, hey, we hope that you figure it out. If it's a senior and you're a scholarship guy and it's just not clicking, hey, you know what? That's a sunk cost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gets looked at a little bit differently than when you're in the pros. And brother, we got a salary cap. You know, you're a cap hit to us, or you're going to be a cap hit to us. We invested in you. Plus, in college, there's no, there might be in a couple years with this NIL, but I sat out, you know what I mean? Or I'm holding out until I get back in and you pay me my money. So I have dealt with kind of awkward locker rooms before, but nothing on this level. And then it becomes, and here's the crazy thing, Chris, about last week to me and Nate, if you notice this too, they were clearly trying to force feed Brandon Ayuk, right? And excuse me, I think that was the 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago when everybody was out. They were trying to get Ayuk going, and it just hasn't been flowing correctly. And I don't know what it's going to take for them to break through and get back. Every week, Chris, I think it's going to happen. But if I'm Juwan Jennings, don't let me be Juwan Jennings, because I'm pulling up in a fur coat. Okay, I'm pulling up saying, I got my money. I'm happy with my money, but let's make it very clear. Y'all are lucky to have me because I'm showing that I could definitely be a number 2 on a lot of teams out here.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting what happens with Juwan this offseason. I mean, we see, you know, even in the game last night, like you got Ray McLeod out there on the
Ray
Falcons.
going on.
That's awesome. What I'm saying. I'm like, I think Juwan's probably going to get out of there and feel like
he's locked down, right?
Yeah, I think
one more year after
got
this.
one more year after
But
this.
to your point, Alan, the Rams game that you said they're trying to force feed him.
Yeah.
So Juwan Jennings obviously led the team in everything. He had 12 targets, 11 receptions, so only one that wasn't. And then Brandon Ayuk, 10 targets, 5 receptions. So I think you're right. I think they did try feeding him, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah, and maybe that's the maybe let's try that again. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm not an offensive guru, but if I'm Kyle Shanahan, it's we got Debo back, we got Kittle back. Let's go with that game plan again and see if we can get Ayuk going. But again, Chris, I think we were talking about this yesterday, and we were talking about it as it pertains to Kevin Huerter and the Kings. My job, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, is not to make Brandon Ayuk comfortable. I want you to get back into the fold. But my job is to win football games. So I'm not going to augment and change my whole plan. If it's in the plan and it's organic, cool. But I'm not going to change all this just to get Brandon Ayuk going if it's not organic within the plan.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, you can't go out of your way, especially with where the Niners are at right now. Maybe if they were 4-0 like the Chiefs, they could have the luxury of, playing around and trying to get guys into shape and, kind of like what we see the Chiefs do with Travis Kelce. He was really struggling, and then they kind of force feed him these past couple weeks, and he looks a little bit more on track. I just think that the Niners, they do have a little bit of a lighter week and have had one with the Patriots last week and then the Cardinals this week. So maybe it's a good opportunity now to try and figure it out, but you can't afford to drop these games. I mean, they're at the point where, if they get shocked this week and they're down 2-3 or they're 2-3, they have a game on Thursday against the Seahawks, you just can't really afford to. And so the Niners' main prerogative needs to be winning games, not getting Brandon Ayuk feeling right. That's what training camp is for. And that's why I think, at the end of this season, I remember a couple years ago, we had Deebo Samuel say, I showed up out of shape and that's never going to happen again. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this season, Brandon Ayuk kind of has the same revelation where he says, maybe training camp does have a purpose. Maybe, I could have benefited from being in shape and being in form and things like that, where I kind of took a month and a half to get right. And it ended up being pretty detrimental to their season. So, I mean, it feels like it's kind of a mess of a situation that you don't try and compound it by going out of your way to fix it.
From Esteban, our guy Esteban on the text line, it is so crazy how before the season, most Niner fans I heard would have chose trading one of them, Ayuk over Deebo. My, how things have changed and people have flipped on them. I love it as a not Niners fan. Well, I think that everybody. Well, I don't think that's changed.
Yeah,
I think most. I think everybody.
Changed.
I think most Niner fans would still trade Ayuk over Deebo right now.
Like if you're forced to.
Around. I think he's saying. I think that Niner fans would still trade Deebo over Ayuk.
Oh, I do not get rid of Deebo right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Deebo is a heart and soul, and also will get you a first down in critical point, like proven time and again. Will fight for those extra yards.
Yeah,
cannot get rid of Deebo right now.
I thought there was my understanding from the outside and from hearing other Niner fans was that there was a big concern that Deebo's body was not going to be able to hold up. Yeah. Brandon Ayuk is the more natural receiver. Yes. We don't need Deebo Samuel. His body's going to break down. We already have Christian McCaffrey. Brandon Ayuk is the future. And so I actually agree with the texter. In my opinion, it does feel like things have, I guess, changed to where I would say now, I think that I've never seen this many Niner fans openly, just kind of hating on Brandon Ayuk. Like there are people out there who are just like, this guy is a drama queen and now he's not producing and we don't really particularly love him the same way that we did last year.
Everything you said is true. Now we have to going into prior to the holdout that it was obvious, right? Post holdout, you just pick your poison. You have Deebo, who's already missed a game, and everything that you said is true. He's not your prototypical receiver. Yep. He's more of a backyard football guy. I think he was better for Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy Garoppolo's not that good of a quarterback, right?
And
you got Brock Purdy who can actually operate as a competent QB and at an elite QB level. So you don't necessarily need Deebo to bail you out, right?
For sure.
The thing is now, to Nate's point, Deebo is that heart and soul, which nobody was saying that when he was in the club with that sign, right? And the Instagram thing, but time heals all wounds. Now you have to deal with that up against Brandon Ayuk. He doesn't necessarily look out of shape, but he's clearly not where he's not sharp right now. Yeah. And you just have the weird drama, whether you think the shorts was a big deal or not. It's just unnecessary. So pick your poison now, where before it was obvious because Brandon Ayuk, prior to this contract, there was no problems. But you get on TikTok, you're everybody, your significant other is posting, and things change. I think ultimately the Niner fans probably don't want to move either. Just every week, like we are, they're just hoping. The first cut is the deepest, just like the song says. Get one good IU game, and we'll get this thing back rolling.
Exactly.
Again.
You're exactly right.
You just have to get that. And that is why I'm wondering if you're Kyle Shanahan, like you said, Chris, you're not really in a position, but it's like, if I can just get him going one game and all this will go away.
Yeah.
Just go. Do I sacrifice against the Cardinals who aren't very good?
Right.
Especially defensively.
Do I just say this is an IU game?
Right.
We're going to force the issue as much as we can, and hopefully 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, and everything can just chill out. That I think it might be worth it. But to the other side, like you said, Chris, what if it doesn't work out? And Marvin Harrison Jr., that you can't sleep on. You can sleep on their defense, but that offense for the Cardinals, what if you force, you look up, you're up 7, and Kyler Murray's like ding, 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 he's running around, and now it's a tie ball game, you end up blowing it.
Yeah.
So Kyle Shanahan has some decisions to make. Coming up next, we hear from the one, the only Keon Ellis, as well as Jalen McDaniels. Our exclusive interviews from the media day for the Sacramento Kings continue our last day with them as we get you ready for NBA preseason, which is going on now, by the way. So we will hear from Keon Ellis and we will hear from Jalen McDaniels. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. We find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884. Get ready to hit the gas on the best power tool deals of the year at Fasteners Tool Outlet. We're revving up the savings with our full throttle one-day DeWalt sale in Sacramento on October 12th only. We are slashing prices on a huge selection of DeWalt power tools like cordless drills, saws, combo kits, and more at costs you won't believe. Get better tools for better prices only at Fasteners Inc., Sacramento's top destination for DeWalt tools. Again, that's October 12th only on Power Inn Road. For more info, go to fastenersinc.net.
Fall's right around the corner, and there's no better way to experience nature and everything that Northern California has to offer than in a Jeep. And right now, it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And they've got the deals and selection for you. From sales to service, they're going to prove to you why they deserve your business. Their GM, Chuck Dean, he has this talent of not only getting you the best deal in town, but he also is able to build an inventory that other dealers are jealous of. SacsSuperstore.com and located off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
The presidential general election is November 5th. All registered voters will receive their ballot in the mail. Check to make sure you're registered correctly at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 800-762-8019.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Right.
All right. We are joined by the one, the only Keon Ellis getting this started for us. Keon,
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Ellis Island. Our first interview from Media Day. Keon got us started in the right way. We will hear from him right now. Then after that, we'll discuss for a little bit, and we will then hear from Jalen McDaniels. Here is Keon Ellis, exclusive Stiles and Watkins from Media Day. Here it is.
All right.
All right. We are joined by the one, the only Keon Ellis getting it started for us. Keon, thank you so much for joining us, man. How excited are you to get this season started off right?
Very excited. I mean, it's been a long summer. Things get real repetitive. The workouts playing against each other. So I think the long break definitely builds up that anticipation to get to going at another team now. So it's here now. So
yeah, sure. And we were just talking about HB's not going to be here. Also, Lindsey Harding's not going to be here. I know you spent a good amount of time with Lindsey through your time in the G League. What's it going to be like to not have both HB here and not have Lindsey here either?
It'll be a different look, obviously, but wishing a lot of success to both of those guys. Yeah. So but yeah, it'll be different. HB had that veteran presence for us. So especially for me as well, my first year coming in, he definitely helped me with a lot of things. And Lindsey, she was my coach as well. So definitely we'll be missing them. But just gotta kind of handle business still. Yeah. So and they'll do the same. So yeah. It'll all be good.
Awesome.
Talking to Keon Ellis. Keon, last season, maybe not to you because we know the work that you put in, but you were a bit of a surprise, right, to a lot of the people that don't follow the Kings. And even if you did follow the Kings, this season, you have some expectations, right? You played really well in that play-in game and just throughout the season. How has that transition been from, hey, I just want my shot in the league to, hey, Keon, you're coming in this season and we're going to need some production for you. How has that transition been?
Honestly, I can't really give you an answer. I think just because it all happened so quick, the not having any expectations to getting thrown out there and then, catching some odds. And then now it's like, okay, so give them another shot. And then, the success kind of continues. So never really had a chance to kind of just like ease it out. Like it was more so just you jump straight into it and like, hey, you're here. So I don't know. I never really got kind of or was able to take a step back and kind of look at it. It's always just been you're in it. So just kind of have to just jump up to the level of play. So but it's definitely been good, obviously getting the opportunity and just trying to go out there and do my best to help the team. So it's been crazy, but kind of like you said now with the expectations and things. So honestly, I don't look at it any different. I just kind of still try to go out there and do my best to make the team look good, make myself, my teammates look good. So nothing will change in my approach. So, but obviously I know that people kind of know me more now. So things will be a little different, but I mean, it's basketball. So I think I'll be all right.
How do you think your time in the G League kind of helped you transition to the NBA a little bit easier?
In the G League, I definitely think it helped me get back to the way I used to play. Like obviously in college, I was a system player, but in the G League, it was like more so, okay, we're going to let you, play your game more. And then, so, you get more reps to do the things that you're capable of doing. So obviously with the Kings, you'll be at a lesser role. So I think that first year of playing a lot in the G League definitely just helped me get comfortable and, try to feel things out while also getting like a few minutes with the big team. So I definitely think that was big for me just to have that confidence going into those games when I would get called up or whatever. So I definitely think that helped.
Talking to Keon Ellis. Keon, we were watching in Summer League and some of the things that it appeared like you were working on your playmaking, but not just your playmaking. Obviously, your calling card has been the defense. Now, there were a couple games where I don't think you can foul out. There are a lot of fouls in the G League. You definitely look like you were taking advantage of that. Sure. Whether it's Summer League or the actual games,
where is that balance of I want to push the line to see, I want to kind of set the tone here with the refs, but I don't want to blink and have 3 fouls. So how do you balance the aggressiveness but not going too far? Because in Summer League, you definitely said, I'm going to see where this line is quickly.
Yeah, no, in Summer League, I definitely knew. I think the game that you're talking about, I think we had that game kind of handled. So I was just like, oh, well, I'm going to be ultra aggressive on defense. Like, we get 10 of them.
Yeah.
They give us 10, so I'm ultra aggressive. Like, if they're going to call it, they're going to have to call it. Like, So, definitely in that setting, I was way more like, I'm reaching at everything, trying to get, see what I can get. But in a real game, I think you kind of just got to know, like, you're guarding other team's top guys. So it's like they're already going to give them calls anyway. Right. So it's like you just got to kind of know when to kind of be aggressive and when to not. Like, if a guy's taking a tough shot, you might not want to, be overly aggressive in your contest because it's like, okay, if that's a tough shot, he might miss it, but if you foul him, now you get him to the line, he gets a rhythm going. So kind of just got to know when to be aggressive and when to take your chance at maybe getting a steal or a block or something like that.
I know you talked about it a bit during Summer League, but, you had a great end to your season last year. I think there was a lot, you were starting games and had the great playing game. Were you a bit surprised to kind of get into the Summer League action, or were you just kind of taking it in stride and whatever they said, they wanted you to do, you were there for?
No, I kind of knew that. Going into the summer, Mike put me to the side. He was like, yeah, we'll probably let you play in Summer League just to, kind of explore your game more, get comfortable doing the things that I won't do as much when the whole teams are here. So, I kind of knew from the jump that I would play in Summer League. Probably wouldn't play the whole Summer League, but, I knew I would be able to go out there and kind of just expand on my game a little bit.
Keon Ellis, thank you so much for joining us, man. Good luck this season. We are looking forward to everything you bring to the table offensively and defensively. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Keon Ellis, the one, the only.
Keon Ellis
and
there.
we are
I think the main thing, Chris, that I took away from it when I asked him about things, our expectations changing, was him saying that my process won't change. And I know that's what you're supposed to say, but I really do believe it. And, Chris, going back to my time in tech, it reminds me of when you have a boss, right? Or you have a boss that you watched come through the ranks versus a boss that maybe got dropped in from another. That's not to say they didn't build their way up somewhere else, but they got dropped in to your team from maybe a different company, and you didn't necessarily see them grow. They don't know the ins and outs and what it takes to make things work, right? You might not work in a system, but you're asking somebody to do something. You don't know what that takes. And with Keon Ellis, the reason I believe it is because he knows what it takes. This isn't a first round pick, a top 10 lottery guy. This is a guy who had to get it out the mud, and he knows that I'm here because of the process that I have put together. So if I stick to this process, I'll continue to be successful.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a great point. I mean, so many times, you try and do something completely different. You're like, hey, yeah, man, I really want to focus on this. It's completely different than what I've been doing. And then you get into the season and you feel like I'm not prepared at all. And yeah, way too many times, guys will overthink things instead of doing what got them there. And I think, what's gotten Keon here is great attention to detail, his effort on the defensive end, and is definitely hitting open shots. And I think he understands, if I just continue to do that, this team really doesn't need me to expand my game a ton right now. That may come down the road, but where he's at right here, right now, he just needs to build on what he's already been doing. And it's a great point to point out that, he's just staying the course, and he's not letting all this starting talk get to his head thinking, oh, I need to be better, I need to be more. He just needs to be himself. And I think as long as he's that, I don't think there'll be much conversation when Kevin Huerter comes back about him potentially losing that starting spot. So I feel great about where Keon's at right now. I love the conversation we had with him. And, it just felt like, I know he was our first interview, but just felt like he was very much engaged in that conversation and really felt like we were just talking to a friend of ours. Like he really is a very, very genuine guy. And that definitely came across just from our brief conversation that we had with him.
Yeah, it was the first convo. So I wasn't ready to get into the gaming thing. And then as soon as you walked away, or as soon as he walked away, I saw the whole chat saying, ask him about gaming. I guess he's huge in the gaming world.
Nate immediately did.
Yeah, and Nate did,
I had to smooze,
Yeah, no, you did a great job. A lot of smoozing, a lot of Wawa shirts and Monty McNair. All right, let's hear from one of the newest Sacramento Kings, Jalen McDaniels. His interview was one that kind of let us know more about him and what we can expect from him on the basketball floor. Here it is.
I mean, I got friends that live around here, family like 45 minutes away, so it's all good. It's all
nice. Yeah, we saw that video of you kind of learning that you were coming to Sacramento over the summer. It looked like you were maybe working out. What happened kind of immediately after that camera turned off and everything was settled?
Well, I talked to my agent or whatever, found out I was really getting traded, and I was back to working out.
Man,
honestly, I was like, yeah, we done. Like, my trainer was like, nah, like, we still got more to do because I stopped the workout for like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, so we done? He's like, nah. So that's all I really happened. Talk to my agent. And,
Nice. Yeah.
Jalen, coming from Toronto, you're going to get a bit of a fresh start here in Sacramento. And, Trey Lyles, we just talked to Trey with his groin injury. There's one thing that we've been asking for in Sacramento, and that's wings. So to get somebody like you out here, does it feel like you're getting a bit of a fresh start and an opportunity to show what you can do?
Yeah, for sure. It's a brand new, fresh start. I'm excited about it. Glad to be here. I just can't wait to play and just go show what I can really do out there. You feel me? So I feel like this fresh start is perfect for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think last season in Toronto didn't really go well for the entire team, really.
Yeah.
What do you kind of feel like you can take from that situation to take to this situation and make sure, like the wheels don't kind of fall off here?
I just know it's going to be adversity, like in your career or whatever you go through. So, I mean, that was mine just last year, not really playing a lot, of like struggling or whatever.
Sure.
But just here, just turning my grind up more, and then during the summer and just getting back to that player that I can be, playing a lot of minutes, helping the team win, stuff like that. So that's what I feel like I can bring to the team.
Yeah, for sure.
With your brother, talking to Jalen McDaniels, with your brother doing his thing in Minnesota, huge trade, by the way, going on over there. Give us a look into kind of how that relationship is, and with the big leap that he made last season. Are you guys in contact, working out together prior to when you were in the league, and now give us a look at how that relationship works?
We talk like every day, pretty much. We don't talk all day, but we talk every day. You feel me? We check in on each other, play the game, stuff like that. I mean, like when he has rough times during the season, we'll talk to each other like, bro, it's a long season. Like can't get hot over one game and stuff like that. So I feel like he's learned a lot with that and just growing, and he's getting older. So you feel me? It's like, really, I can't really say, like, he's just finding his way. He asks me for stuff
for sure
here and there. So I'm just letting him find his way, but whenever he needs my advice or I need his, we chop it up.
Yeah.
So, and it's cool to have somebody going through it with you. Like 82 games is a long season, So to hit my brother and be like, bro, you good? Like, how you doing? And then he do the same to me. It's helpful. So
I'm sure you get asked this question all the time, but like, how are your guys' games similar, and where do they really kind of start to separate?
Really similar but different. Like I would say, like we was growing up. I was training. He had the guard skills already. Like he can already dribble, move fluid with the ball. Like that was something I had to learn and like develop. So I would say that's one thing. And but pretty much I feel like it's kind of the same type of game, honestly.
Yeah. Talking to Jalen McDaniels, if there's someone out here or some of the Kings fans that maybe haven't seen you play before, what can they expect to see when you get on the floor? How would you describe yourself and the type of player that you are?
Just playing hard, playing with a lot of energy, trying to be the best defender out there, running the floor, you feel me, hitting my open shots when I get the chance, and just making the right play and playing the right way. You feel me? That's something I always just prided myself on, is playing the right way and just always playing with a high motor. So that's just me.
Being in Toronto last year, how much did you kind of hear about DeMar and his, as the kids say, his aura and things like that? Just kind of what kind of things he brings to the table?
Well, out there, I remember we played Chicago, and they was going crazy. It was a home game. So I know what type of caliber player he is. Been in the league 15 years, great vet. You can learn a lot from him. He's going to bring it every night. So I'm excited to play with him, be on the team with him. So.
Jalen McDaniels, great stuff. Before we get you out of here, you mentioned playing the game with your brother. I missed out on asking Keon about what games he's playing right now. So I'm out the game. I'm not playing games no more. What are you on, 2K?
Yeah,
what you got going right now?
2K, Call of Duty.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Just keep it simple. There you go. Well, you're going to keep it more than simple on the basketball court. Jalen McDaniels, thank you so much for joining us, man. Good luck this season, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
That was Jalen McDaniels, one of the newest Sacramento Kings, and
Thanks, man.
we really appreciate Jalen. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Great stuff there from Jalen McDaniels, and I really liked what he said about the relationship with him.
Great stuff from Jalen McDaniels, and yeah, I think that kind of showed the type of player he is, Chris, and I really think he wants to cleanse the palate from last season. All right, great stuff. We will be right back, and when we return, Bleacher Report asks one question of Keon Ellis. We'll tell you what it is, and we'll answer it. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all.
Model year-end savings are going on now. It's savings you just can't say no to.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
15 minutes away from your last chance to win Mike Epps tickets. They've been going quick, and it's Nate's turn to pick that lucky number. That is coming up at 11:30 if you're listening on the Sacktown Sports app. First of all, thank you. And second of all, you're going to want to switch over pretty soon here, probably at the break. You want to make sure you don't catch that little lag if you want to see.
I'd say right now. I was using the app last night
right.
to listen. I was
grinding some film.
I was riding bike and I was listening to the game on Sacktown Sports app, and it was, 7 plays behind maybe. So
yeah.
I was trying not to look at my phone and my fantasy score so I wouldn't get spoiled. But
Yeah. So, and if you aren't able to get to an AM, just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, join the Sack chat, introduce yourself.
give us a like.
Give us a like.
I'm serious. We need likes.
Hey,
I'm not joking.
all right. You want to panhandle for likes?
Yeah, I think that's what my life is coming to.
So Grant Hughes of Bleacher Report, he basically had this to say, Chris, about one Keon Ellis, and they reveal one question for the Kings in training camp. And Grant Hughes says, Ellis sits way below De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, and new addition DeMar DeRozan on the marquee, but his two-way play is going to be absolutely critical to the Kings improving on last year's play and elimination. A roster could consistently field lineups with 4 offense-first ball-dominant weapons. We'll need Ellis to drill threes, defend, and do all the dirty work. He goes on to say, can he sustain his scoring efficiency and defensive hustle if his role in the rotation is at least that large going forward? Can he also pull it off while facing tougher competition as a potential starter and closer? Ellis does things on the margins that no one else on Sacramento's roster can. He's not the team's best player by any stretch, but he somehow seems indispensable. So that is Grant Hughes of Bleacher Report. And the first thing I would say, to not negate what Grant is saying, but I would say this: Keon, and the whole idea of the starter thing and tougher competition, Keon started, what was that, 15 games at the end of last season when when Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter went down. So I feel like Keon is more used to facing the starters than facing, I guess, the second rotation, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. He started 21 games last year. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have really any of that concern at all. It kind of doesn't really matter either. I mean, I think all the competition is, when you're out there, pretty much it's a hodgepodge of starters and bench players. It's not like Keon's only playing garbage time minutes. Maybe that would have been more of a concern. But yeah, like you said, I mean, he played heavy minutes throughout the regular season. He played in both play-in games. He was heavily involved in the Kings' first play-in game. I don't really have any of those concerns. I guess really the only concern is just, can he do it again? But literally just, can he continue to shoot at that level? I mean, I don't think his defense is just going to disappear out of nowhere. And I think that's first and foremost the most important thing that he does for that Kings starting unit. But yeah, maybe if he doesn't hit shots at 40%, that could be maybe how we see a different Keon Ellis. And that's maybe where we need to start wondering, okay, like we mentioned earlier, is he going to need to start to maybe develop his game a little bit earlier than we thought? Is he going to need to develop a floater, which we did see some of? We did see some of him attacking the interior. But I don't really have many concerns about Keon Ellis being real as the headline is for this. I just don't see how what Keon did last year wasn't something that he could not necessarily even scale out, but just replicate. Like it was a very, I don't want to say simple role because he did have big responsibilities, but it was very streamlined. It's, hey, defend the best player on the other team, easier said than done, and hit your open threes. We're not asking you to, hey, break somebody down, take a step back and hit tough threes. It's literally, Keon, if you're open, shoot it. If not, keep the ball moving. We have so many offensive playmakers. It's not on you to create the offense. So I kind of don't really have many, if any, concerns about Keon Ellis for this season. I think he also temperament-wise is a dude who lets the game come to him. He's not somebody who's been very selfish and said, oh, me. It's always been, hey, yeah, what can I do to just kind of get minutes here? And I don't see why that would change anytime soon.
Yeah, and I would go on to say this, Chris, even if and I know what I'm going to say is about a rookie, but I do feel like, and we went back and forth on this, when Devin Carter is ready, there will be a little bit of redundancy there, but I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying that the question that Grant poses as far as Keon is the only one that can do what he does on this team. I don't know if that will be true when Devin Carter gets there. And I don't necessarily know if it'll be completely true. I know he's not the same player and Keon is a bit longer, but Keon isn't really guarding threes either. And you do have a Jordan McLaughlin. So you have guys that can do similar things. We haven't seen Jordan McLaughlin in a Kings uniform. We haven't seen Devin Carter in the NBA, but I don't know. I think by design, and maybe that was Monty McNair's thought process to get one Devin Carter is, hey, we can't just rock and roll with only Keon. So even if Keon did take a step back, I don't think that based on timing that Keon is the only person that could do that. Right. So you have number one, we don't think that Keon's going to take a step back. Number two, if he did happen to take a step back, you'd have to assume that Devin Carter is also a miss and that Jordan McLaughlin is also a miss or just can't do what Keon can do. So I think there are a lot of fail safes in this conversation as far as getting that type of stoppage and production from that position. So I'm not really worried about that at all. If anything, let's talk about the wing depth and what's going to happen with Trey Lyles, coming back from the groin injury, and if Kevin Huerter is going to play a three. We can have those conversations, but as far as the guard position, and I'm not going to sleep on De'Aaron Fox. We don't want him guarding the other team's best player night in and night out, but he can. So I don't find this to be an issue at all. And maybe we're missing something, but I don't find this to be an issue at all.
No, yeah, I think it's going to be fine. And, even if you do have guys who do the same thing, I think that's fine too. I think the more, especially if it's defense, I think you can't have enough defense. And with a guy like Mike Brown, who's at the helm, we see that he's going to value that too. And yeah, I think it's going to be a nice addition for this team to almost maybe have a problem of having. Last year it was too many shooters, right? How are you going to get Sasha out there? How are you going to get all these shooters out at once? It might be a good problem this year to say, well, yeah, I think we have too many defenders, and that would be a welcome change for this team, I think, for sure.
Coming up next, the best rivalry in the NBA. Is it just along Highway 80? Sabonis on the Rich Eisen Show talks about Draymond Green and hoping the black eye tradition ends. Also, we give away Mike Epps tickets. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sacktown Sports at SacktownSports.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This report is brought to you by Macy's. Don't miss Macy's VIP sale. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest fall trends and save 15% off skincare, makeup, and more. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. Now at Macy's.
With Wendy's, breakfast burrito is everything you want for breakfast. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, bacon, or sausage, all rolled up into one warm tortilla. Want the boss of breakfast burritos? Gotta be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Shop fall savings at Big O Tires now through October 13th and buy 3, get 1 free on 4 select in-stock tires with installation and alignment purchase on all 4 tires. Offer good on most Saloon tires while supplies last. Disposal fees extra, not good with other offers. See participating Big O Tire dealer for details.
Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
We have Instagram drama. The Riddler, a.k.a. Devontae Adams. We'll tell you all about it right after this giveaway. You know him. You love them. Mike Epps returns to Sacramento for a night of nonstop laughs. And, of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. All you have to do, last chance now, all you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now looking for caller number
5.
Caller number 5 to score that pair of tickets to check out Mike Epps at Hard Rock Live October 12th, courtesy of Live Nation. Caller number 5. Caller number 5. Caller number 5. For more information, visit SacktownSports.com, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140. Now, we have that sound for you from Domantas Sabonis on the beef, if you will. It seems so long ago with Draymond Green. But this is 30 minutes ago. Interesting post from Devontae Adams, Edgar Allan Poe, and, of course, Edgar Allan Poe's famous poem, The Raven. As the Raven was listed, or the Ravens were listed on that list, Chris, I believe, from Ian Rappaport. There have been so many lists going around, but I believe they were on the list from Ian Rappaport yesterday or a couple days ago. Not sure what this means. I don't know what I don't think the Ravens are. That's the thing, right? They're not going to give up Zay Flowers. I wouldn't imagine so. So I'm curious what if there is a deal in place for Devontae Adams, that the Ravens always looking to give Lamar more opportunities to throw the football.
Yeah.
What in the world the Raiders could be getting back for that?
I mean, we know that they had the second round pick out there that they that's what they said they wanted was a second round pick and then another asset on top of that. So I mean, maybe it is it could just be draft compensation. It could be a second round pick this year or maybe a third round pick next year or something like that. It wouldn't surprise me. Because, I don't think the Raiders ever said specifically they wanted a receiver back or
not like
anything
the
like
Niners
that.
did during the Brandon Ayuk
Right.
stuff.
No, exactly. And the Raiders aren't really playing for anything at this moment in time. And so I'd imagine it's just if you want to give us a player, we'll probably take it if we have any interest. But I think draft capital is probably the number one thing that they care about more than anything. And, obviously getting off that contract too. But, I think the Ravens is definitely, if it is the Ravens, it's an interesting place for him to go. We've seen that they've tried to make the Lamar thing work through the air by getting him, Odell and drafting guys like Zay Flowers and, others like that. Rashad Bateman's a first round pick that hasn't really panned out to that level
forgot
yet.
he was a first round pick.
He's fine, but he is not. I mean, he's definitely not first round pick worthy.
He was a first round pick.
So it makes sense, maybe, if it's ever going to work out with Lamar through the air, it's going to be with a guy like Devontae, but I don't know necessarily if that's what takes the Ravens offense to another level. You definitely have some scary weapons. You got Derrick Henry, you got Lamar, and you got Devontae, but I don't know if that necessarily means that the Ravens are going to be a high functioning offense just because, we just haven't really seen them do it through the air much throughout Lamar's career.
And it's so funny. We talked about deals happening because, hey, we talk about players missing training camp, right? We talk about players missing training camp, but then you're going to do a deal and Lamar isn't older. It's not an Aaron Rodgers situation. But you're going to do a deal with Devontae Adams, who turns 32 in December. You're going to do a deal and just assume that this thing is going to work this season. I mean, it's going to take a couple weeks to get everything in the flow of things. You're already in week 5. You're going into week 5 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you still have a long time till week 18. And that's the thought is that, it's still early enough to where by playoff time, he should definitely be in the full swing of the offense and you won't really have much concern about it. But, the Ravens, as we talk about the Niners not being able to really afford to squeeze Brandon Ayuk in, the Ravens are 2-2 as well. And they're behind the Steelers in that division. And they have a pretty tough schedule. So maybe it's not in their best interest, but I kind of think it is something where maybe they feel like, they're a little bit behind schedule right now. And maybe they feel like Devontae is the kind of swing that they're willing to make right now. And I don't think it's the worst thing for him for sure. I'm just not sure that it's necessarily going to be as revolutionary as what maybe they hope it is.
Yeah. Let's switch gears over here to, and by the way, Nate, we have a winner, our last winner. I see some calls still coming in.
Anthony from Dixon.
Ooh.
Anthony from Dixon. Congrats to you. Enjoy yourself at the Mike Epps show. And speaking of shows, it might be the greatest show in the NBA when the Sacramento Kings and the Warriors get together. Rich Eisen is trying to get something out of Domantas Sabonis here, as Domantas Sabonis is on his starting five tour. This is the conversation they had as Domas gets asked about his relationship with Draymond Green. Here it is.
Draymond cool at all?
I think so. I think we're cool.
You are?
Yeah, there's no bad beef. It's not what the media thinks. We're just two competitors and we're fighting for playoff.
Okay. So there's So like not Christmas card list type thing, or you're just fine, or
probably not. No, we're cool. I mean, we both respect each other, and on the court, we're just trying to win.
Do you think he respects you?
I think so.
Okay. All right. And so when you see the Warriors, there's no issue. I'm fine dropping the subject matter.
No, there's no issue. We're both players in the same position that want to win, and
okay,
both kind of aggressive, loud players out there.
Are you loud?
I think so.
What do you mean?
People say. I mean, I don't know. Like we're vocal. We show a lot of emotion.
You always seem to have a black eye. Seriously. Like I'm like when you walked in, I'm like, is this really the Sabonis that's supposed to be here? Because your face looks unbruised. You always do seem to have.
For the last couple of years in the postseason, it's been a thing where I'm going into the postseason or first game of the postseason, have a black eye.
So it's not just me then.
That's not just you. It happened last year at the last game we played Portland, and it was one of those games where we're just trying to get over with. Season's over, and
look at that.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Now, is this the moment you received the black eye, or
this already happened? Actually, no one knew until after the game, and then after I took a shower, it started to swell up and get some color.
Well, then now you say it's time for the playoffs.
Exactly.
Right? You now can't go into the playoffs without a black eye.
I hope that tradition ends.
So then, what do you say would your father agree? Do you have this conversation with your dad that his era was tougher to play in than yours?
He always says it's different. It's different basketball.
How so?
He says you can't compare. Like everyone is great in their own era because everyone's adapting to that type of basketball. So
right.
I mean, if you had those players back then and put them here, they're going to adapt to these new rules and everything. They're just that smart. They're just whatever it may be, So
right.
Some people, Chris, I was reading the comments under the posts, and some people were saying they weren't, and these are Kings fans. They felt like Rich Eisen was trying to bait Domantas Sabonis into something. And number one, I would say, well, I feel like that's kind of his job.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? I didn't really have a problem with it. Maybe there was one last "you sure" in there, but I didn't really have a problem with it.
No, yeah, I don't really think anything of Rich's comments. I think it's really interesting that Domantas Sabonis is one of the nicest people on the planet because he could have made it messy if he wanted to because he just lied. I mean, it's fine that he did. He did it because he's trying to cover
Where
Draymond.
did he lie?
By saying that he thinks that Draymond respects him. He knows Draymond doesn't respect him. Draymond literally, I have an exact quote here from Draymond Green show immediately after the Kings playoff. Lost a lot of respect for Sabonis, Green said on the Draymond Green show. You don't shake hands after you lose. I don't respect that. I once left the court when we lost game 7 of the 2016 finals. Went to the locker room, sat down. I said, this don't feel right. I walked back out and showed everybody on the court love. You lost. Deal with it. Pay your respect. It was whack to me. That's whack. I wouldn't even necessarily say lost respect. I don't respect that. And that's whack. That is a direct quote from Draymond Green on the Draymond Green show. And Sabonis knows that. And Sabonis is just being nice. And he's not trying to cause controversy or anything like that. And I respect Domas for not trying to be messy, but he knows what it is. And I don't think he likes Draymond, and I don't think he cares that Draymond doesn't like him. But I think that Sabonis just lied to everybody, and it's fine.
But then it becomes, and first of all, you're taking me back now because at that time I was on the other side. But
that's right.
Draymond saying that is crazy to me because let's not forget who they lost to. Your boy LeBron. And I don't know if Draymond shakes hands if it's not the Cavs. I'll just put that out there. So Draymond comparing those two.
Well, I think that was when they were not cool though.
That's true.
That was the first punch.
That's
if you remember.
true. That was the
I don't know what I can.
The Stones. Yes, the Stones situation. Yes. Hey, get your stones away from my face. Yeah. So I hear you on that. But Chris, then I asked the question, where and when should you, number one, keep it real, and number two, be expected to keep it real? You like that, and I'm thinking about this as we're talking about it. You like that Domantas Sabonis, and you didn't necessarily say that you like it or not, but Domantas Sabonis decides to take the high road. Is that a situation? And I see people in the SAC chat saying Draymond would just tell it to you how it is. I guess it's really what is your flavor of athlete? And Domas is going to handle business on the court. Draymond is going to tell you he's going to handle business on the court, but he's also going to talk about it off the court. So, does Domas, in the spirit of we want our athletes to be real, does he have to sit there on Rich Eisen and say, yeah, I actually don't really mess with Draymond at all?
No, I mean, I think that is Sabonis being real. Like, I think Sabonis is legitimately a very, very nice guy.
So he doesn't have
very
beef.
Non-confrontational.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he doesn't have beef. I think if you ask him, he said, on to the next one. People hit me in the face all the time. People usually don't stomp on my chest for sure.
Right.
But I'm sure I'm sure if he's talking to his family or his wife about it, and it's just them two, sure. Maybe he's like, yeah, what's that guy's problem? He's a jerk. He's a D-bag, whatever. But yeah, publicly, he just doesn't what's the benefit for Sabonis causing smoke? It's that he might get stomped on again. And so there's not.
And then Draymond will say, don't worry about me.
There's no win. I mean, the win is, he also knows, what's the benefit of pumping up the Warriors? Why give Draymond Green any sort of clip to run with? And maybe that Warrior team, which, frankly, let's be honest, the Kings should wash the Warriors this year. You don't want Draymond feeling any type of different way in those kind of games. You don't want them getting any sort of, hey, maybe they do beat the Kings one time and Draymond's got something to say. Oh, people were talking this summer about, respect for me and I got no respect for the game. Well, how respectful? You just don't want, no need to give them fuel where there already is some. I think it's a good move for Sabonis. Personally, I would love if my athletes were more like wrestlers and are just trying to cut promos, but that is Sabonis being real. Again, I think that is legitimately the kind of guy that Sabonis is.
I also think that where the Warriors are right now, they play better, specifically Draymond, with a chip.
100%.
If you just leave him to be docile and just in his own world, I just don't think the Warriors are going to scare very many people this season. So smart on Domas and the question of how he thinks Draymond feels about him versus how he feels about Draymond Green. Coming up next, we go around the NBA and NBA. We play a little most likely to blank. We ask the questions and we will fill in those blanks. You can fill them in too. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell, Retirement Security Center for the weekly economic update. U.S. stock indexes finished the quarter surprisingly higher, with the S&P 500 up 20.8% this year. The index has fallen at least 4% the past 4 Septembers, while this September saw gains of approximately 2%. The Russell 2000 index, which is comprised of 2,000 smaller capitalized stocks, saw gains of 8.9% for the quarter. Smaller companies could be more sensitive to interest rates, as the cost of debt can be an important factor in their profitability. With the rallies in smaller stocks, this could be a sign that the economy is already reacting to the recently lowered rates. Utilities and real estate sectors also saw significant gains in the quarter. These sectors tend to provide dividends to their investors, potentially attractive to those looking for income, as they see traditional fixed income options such as bonds paying new lower rates due to Federal Reserve actions. With the Federal Reserve in a neutral stance, investors may be left guessing when or if rates will continue to be lowered. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic FA Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Osaic FA is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic FA.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
True fans of the game should pick up a copy of The Match, The Day the Game of Golf Changed Forever, written by Mark Frost, who also wrote The Greatest Game Ever Played. The book was published more than 10 years ago, but it tells the true story of a remarkable round of golf played by legendary professionals Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson against two of the sport's greatest amateurs, Ken Venturi and Harvey Ward. Hogan, who avoided playing with amateurs at all costs, was hoodwinked into playing by Eddie Lowry, Francis Ouimet's diminutive caddy, who at that point was a successful San Francisco businessman. The match, with its many wagers, was set to be played at Cypress Point Club, and although the exciting 18 holes unfold with each turn of a page, it's the backstory of each of the players that makes the words come alive. My friend Ken Venturi, the last survivor of that foursome, told me it was a dream match, and so good even fiction couldn't touch it. It's a fabulous read. For Golf to Go, I'm Frank LaRosa.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,750 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT in stock after rebates. All of them. Silverado blowout on now at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's try.
See dealer for details. Ends 10/3/124.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Monk heads up to the right side of the floor. Crosses. Leaner in the paint. Too strong. No good. Curry has the rebound. Sabonis on the floor, and he just got stomped on by Green, and a foul was called. And that may warrant an ejection.
Light the beam. Light it. That is what's going to happen a lot this season, guys. I'll tell you that right now. Shout out to Anthony, our winner of the Mike Epps comedy tickets. Thank you for calling all week, because that means you were listening. And we appreciate you as we take you up to 2 p.m. Stiles and Watkins. And the Drive Guys got you next. Chris, can't forget, we got to get into some college football at some point. I saw Desmond Howard talking about who's most likely to win the Heisman, and now Travis Hunter has entered the conversation. But if Cam Ward has, a good showing at Cal tomorrow, I think he'll still be up there. Marshawn Lynch will be there. I'll be there as well. College game day. Chris and I doing the exact opposite things. I'm going to college game day, and then I'm going home. Chris Watkins is staying home for college game day and then going to the game. So we will be represented in 2 different capacities. So we will get into that a little bit later in the show. But now it is time for Around the NBA. We're going to combine this Around the NBA. We have a couple most likelies, so we will get to those as well. But Chris, the NBA preseason started today. We walked in and the Celtics were playing the Denver Nuggets, and the starters were playing out there in Abu Dhabi. The Jazz play today as well, and the Timberwolves take on the Lakers. Anything you are looking forward to seeing during the preseason, or just you'll catch stuff as you go?
Yeah, I'll just kind of catch it as it goes. Preseason, in terms of like storylines, not super intriguing, not really much going on. I think, there's going to be some things down the line that you'll watch. I think tonight, the most obvious thing is probably just to see Bronny and LeBron, see if they step on the floor at any point together, just to kind of get maybe the initial shock out of the way. We kind of talked a couple weeks ago about when they might actually step on the floor in the regular season at the same time. I'd imagine tonight you get a nice little preview of it. It's harmless. There's no harm, no foul. That game's going to be at 7:30, and we have some WNBA action, some game threes. Winner goes home. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a second round, so it's best of 5. But you have the Liberty and Aces. That could be a potential elimination game. Liberty up 2-0, and then you have the Sun and the Lynx in a 1-1 series. That one is going to be a good one. That to me is the probably going to be the most competitive series of all of this. I thought the Liberty were just a better team than the Aces this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a sweep.
Well, and they have the revenge on their mind, right? From the finals. What happened with obviously we know Asia Wilson balled out, but what happened with the Las Vegas Aces, Chris? Was it just a bit of burnout?
I would say it's probably more of just a talent drain. I mean, after so many years, you lose their bet. They really are pretty much like the Knicks nowadays, where they did just have somebody win the Sixth Man of the Year, or the WNBA version of Sixth Man of the Year, but their bench is completely depleted from what it was when they were winning championships. And frankly, I just thought the Liberty are built a little bit more like modern basketball. You have Jonquel Jones who can shoot from the perimeter. You have Breonna Stewart who can shoot from the perimeter. You have Sabrina Ionescu who is, kind of a three-point marksman. The Aces, they run traditional Asia Wilson out the high post, running post-ups. Chelsea Gray's a little bit more of your traditional point guard CP3 style. And, it's just kind of is a clash of two different eras of basketball. And I just always thought that I was surprised that the Liberty didn't take advantage of it last year. I think this year they understand shooting is what's going to set them apart, and really just being dominant offensively. Sabrina's been ridiculous this series going at Kelsey Plum.
Next, Chris, as you mentioned, Bronny, this came out from Ramona Shelburne, and, they just can't help themselves. The Warriors were reportedly very interested in Bronny James, but chose to respect LeBron James's wishes to help make his dream come true.
I hate it.
Here's the quote. The Warriors liked Bronny's skill set and had him on their draft board, sources said. Selecting him ahead of the Lakers, who held the 55th pick, would have been a shrewd move, perhaps even to entice James to sign there as a free agent. But ultimately, sources said the Warriors opted to respect the wishes James had made clear, and the Lakers signaled they would grant. Let me start. With this one. All I'm going to say is that it's the Warriors, so that's why that was all over our timeline this morning. But there's going to be about 7, maybe more than 10 teams that come out and say they had interest in Bronny. That's how this thing is going to go. But it's the Warriors, and everybody is salivating over Steph and LeBron after the finals, or after the Olympics. So that's why this is even a story. But a bunch of teams would say the same thing now.
I'll just say that this is chess, not checkers, and this is the first time I can actually legitimately, with the straight face, say the Warriors are acting light years ahead. This is very big brain of them to have this come out. Drafting Bronny would have been a tough move. It probably, I actually think, would have done the opposite of what the report is there, that, maybe this would have enticed LeBron to come to Golden State. I kind of feel like LeBron would have viewed it as, why are you holding my son hostage? You knew that this is what we wanted to do, and the only reason you're taking him is to get at me.
Right.
I think he would have actually done the opposite of what they intended. And now with this report coming out, the Warriors, look, they did good by Bron. They let Bron have his moment. And so now, maybe
next year,
not next, it could be whenever. I just think that it's the way of the Warriors, maybe currying, no pun intended, currying some favor with LeBron and saying, look, like we let you have your dream. Just remember that we're a good organization that has let you do this,
It's an interesting thing to think about, because maybe LeBron once you do it, does he have to play a whole season with Bronny? Right? If you let the trade deadline, whatever it is, if you say, hey, I played with Bronny a couple games and now I'm gonna do my own thing and he can do his own thing. Do you have to play the whole season?
Maybe that's even operating light years further ahead let Bronny and Bron have their moment and then trade for Bronny and say, look, LeBron, we want Bronny to cook by himself. We want to let him carve out his own legacy for now. Whenever you want to come, though, he's here.
All right. Let's have
I hate it.
Let's have this NBA most likely conversation. Nate, hop in here as well. Pick one to have a bounce back season. Most likely to have a bounce back season. Ben Simmons, Andrew Wiggins, D'Angelo Russell, or Jordan Poole.
Oh, it's time for D'Angelo Russell, right? It's that circle where he's back to being like halfway decent.
D'Angelo Russell had a good season last year.
Yeah.
He shot like 40% from
NBA
three.
Central has him on this
Well,
list.
it's not Ben Simmons, right?
What's the exact phrasing of the question? Because I might want to
Pick
go
one
Ben
to have
Simmons.
a bounce back season.
Bounce back. He didn't play though, right? Simmons.
So it's a low bar.
Ben Simmons.
If he bounces the ball back into his hand, it's a really big bounce back season for him.
I'll just go Wiggins. Oh, but also, I'm not against Jordan Poole.
I'm going to go Jordan.
I'm going Jordan.
I'm not against Jordan.
I'm going pool. I'm going
Yeah.
pool party on this one, just because I like the guy. To be completely,
They said he's
honest
playing
with you.
point this year too.
Oh yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be slipping and
Get
sliding.
some baddies courtside, and he'll shoot the lights out.
Yes. I hope. Yeah. Most likely to miss the playoffs: Mavericks, Suns, Warriors, Lakers.
Warriors. Warriors.
Whew.
Warriors. That's fine.
Oh, I just can't imagine a world where the Lakers miss the playoffs. I guess the play-in doesn't count.
Does not count.
They could get eliminated in there. Oh, I'll just say Lakers.
Steph Curry goes down. There's no hope for the Warriors. LeBron goes down.
Yeah.
At least you got AD, and you got Bronny.
But AD's not going to not go down either.
That's a phenomenal point. But I'm going Warriors.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
And last but not least, most likely to have a letdown season: Luka, Shea, Jokic, Anthony Edwards.
Shea.
I
think
probably Shea, yeah.
he's a very good player, but he's not a guy that like elevates his team.
I'm confused on. I'm still trying to figure out what Shea is.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's unless there's injury involved, it's hard for me to see Luka's numbers going away.
Yeah. I think Shea's numbers feel like the biggest outlier. I mean, he was at 30 a game last year. That's kind of crazy. Feels like that team's gotten better too, so maybe less reliance on him. Where a guy like Jokic, it feels like they might have more reliance on him. I'll go Shea. 30 points per game is pretty crazy.
I'm going Jokic, just because you guys went Shea. But do I believe it?
The stock is also.
I'm only saying Jokic because I've been trying to get the Nuggets out of the picture. Because that helps the Kings get into the picture. All right. That was our NBA most likely. Maybe we'll do another one before the season actually kicks off. Coming up next, our conversation with Trey Lyles and Jordan McLaughlin, the Junkyard Dog. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
It's a toss to McCaffrey, a cutback run 30, breaks 340. McCaffrey midfield. McCaffrey 40, 30, 20, and toasted all the way down to the 3-yard line on the first play of the game. CMC Dynamite!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Fall's right around the corner, and there's no better way to experience nature and everything that Northern California has to offer than in a Jeep. And right now, it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And they've got the deals and selection for you. From sales to service, they're going to prove to you why they deserve your business. Their GM, Chuck Dean, he has this talent of not only getting you the best deal in town, but he also is able to build an inventory that other dealers are jealous of. SacsSuperstore.com and located off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Khalid, live in concert. See him performing at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. Get tickets now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss the sensational Khalid for one night only at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. For more, visit KhalidOfficial.com.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We are joined now. The one, the only, part of that Kentucky connection on the Kings, Trey Lyles. This is our exclusive from Media Day, and we also have Jordan McLaughlin. But first up, Trey Lyles. We get an update on his groin injury very quickly, by the way. And we learned more about Trey and really his transition from, sometimes I'm the center, sometimes I'm the 4, and his expectations going into this season. Here it is.
Thank you.
How you doing? By Trey Lyles of your Sacramento Kings. We're getting Trey set up with everything. Like we said, we'd be mid-conversation, so we decided to kill some time talking about Jimmy Butler's hairstyle. Trey Lyles, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Now, I'm going to just get this out the way now. Trey, I normally don't ask this question within the first line of meeting another man, but how's the groin doing?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're headed in the right direction.
Okay, great.
How was your summer so far?
It was good. It was quick. It was busy. Lots of basketball.
Yeah, sure. How was the Olympic experience?
It was good. I'm glad I did it. New experience for me. First time in France.
Sure.
First time playing in the Olympics and being a part of that and seeing other athletes and stuff like that. So it was cool.
Yeah.
You have Jordy going over to Brooklyn. What do you think Jordy is going to bring to that Brooklyn team, and what are you going to miss from Jordy being out here in Sacramento with you?
I think he'll bring a lot of structure over there. A lot of hard work, a lot of teaching those guys, and they have a young team, so I think he'll fit in, and he's able to vibe with the players and kind of know what's going on. So it's always helpful when you have a coach like that. I answered the same question earlier. Jordy was our defensive guy and kind of just like always a guy that was challenging us. Not to say that Mike wasn't, but just more so defensively. He was always trying to teach us, trying to have us learn, trying to be better. He was always film, talking, which is what we needed and stuff like that. So we're gonna miss that, but obviously knowing Mike and knowing a couple of the other coaches that void's gonna be filled pretty quickly.
You said that was your first time in Paris?
First time in France.
How was that? What was your favorite part of just kind of being around the city?
Paris was amazing. It's a beautifully architecturally designed city.
Sure.
I love cities I'm able to walk through and just do random stuff. So that was perfect being over there for that. Obviously didn't stay as long as we wanted to, but it was a good trip. It was a nice city, good food, nice restaurants.
For
sure. Went to a couple museums, which was fun.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Nice.
Here talking to Trey Lyles. Trey, a lot of people talk about the forward depth on this team, and it's been a talking point. Only 4 forwards on the team with Keegan, Jalen, now DeMar, and yourself. What do you expect your role to look like this season? Are you more of a, I'm just going to do my job and see what happens? Do you talk to coach about it? How do you approach all of that?
Coach does a thing where he gives every player on the team a role at a certain point during the season. So, once I get my role, which I pretty much, I think it's pretty similar, to last year, and I'm one of those guys, I've said it before, where I'm gonna control what I can control, which is my energy and my effort. So, I'm gonna go out there and do that and try to step up in more ways. And like I said it earlier, my thing this year is just being available. Last year I wasn't available a lot, which was tough on me, tough on the team, I think, in certain instances, and then trying to get back into it at the end of the season, obviously it wasn't the best idea. So just being available, being healthy, going out there and obviously doing what the team needs me to do, which I'm okay with whatever that is, and I just want to win. So yeah, I'm good with whatever.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Someone like you, I mean, you kind of play a really unique role. You're asked to play out on the perimeter offensively, a little bit defensively too, but you're also asked to kind of be sometimes a backup 5 and maybe a stretch 5, or at least bang down in the post. How tough is that, like during the summer, on your body to just kind of find that perfect middle ground of being able to stay mobile but still be strong and physical enough to kind of bang around in the post?
I think it's pretty easy.
Really?
I haven't struggled with it. I haven't struggled with it probably since my second or third year. And I think that comes with age, just getting stronger naturally, being able to guard bigger guys just from naturally getting stronger. And then, offensively, being able to play on the perimeter, that's just workouts. That's just continuing to shoot a lot, shoot off the move a lot, and just be out there and doing that. So it's not hard for me to do that. Obviously, I think I excel a little bit in the stretch 5 role for our team and stuff like that. So it's something that I've told coaches, I've told our coach, I told Mike, I've told everybody else, if that's what they need from me, I'm more than capable. So yeah.
From the Canadian team that you played with this summer, you had Shea on that team. You had Jamal Murray, NBA champions, to now having DeMar DeRozan join this team. How are you soaking in being around a lot of this elite talent and talent that has kind of been where the Kings are trying to go?
No, I think it's great. I played with Jamal early in his career. I played with DeMar in San Antonio. So, these are guys that I'm used to being around. I've played with a lot of great individual players and been on some good teams. So I think us, acquiring DeMar is just going to help take us to that next level. Whereas games last year where we were losing, down the stretch, we have a guy like him who's experienced. Not to say that De'Aaron and Domas aren't capable either, because they're more than capable. But having another option to go to for us as a team is just going to accelerate us that much more in those games in certain situations, and hopefully we won't even be in those because of these guys.
Yeah.
What are you guys hoping to accomplish this year? Like, what do you think this team is really capable of?
I mean, I think it's the same thing every year. You know, guys want to make the playoffs. Of course. That's the number one thing. But I think we're capable of a lot. That first year that we had Mike, we were really, surprising a lot of people. And I think that if we could get back to that style of playoff, just running and just getting out there and playing together and playing, like that, I think the sky's the limit for us. We have the depth, we have the players, we have the scoring, we have the ability to play defense when we really lock in. We showed that last year, and I think we'll continue to do that this year. So it's really just up to us. How far we take it.
Yeah.
Trey Lyles, thank you so much for joining us. Trey Lyles of your
you guys.
Sacramento Kings.
Thanks, guys.
Can't wait. Good luck this season, man. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Trey. Appreciate it, man.
That was Trey Lyles of your Sacramento Kings. Great stuff from.
Really just get to the bottom of the injury. Chris, he said it's going well. His time with Team Canada. And there are a couple of names that he mentioned. He's Shady played with a lot of guys already in the league, but I think that playing with the Canadian team really kind of helped to expand his scope as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize he had played with DeMar until he mentioned it.
Yep, that's the one
in San Antonio. I was really surprised to hear that, and I wish I tried to do as much pre-research as possible, but I wish I had seen that one, because definitely would have asked him, being the only person who really had experience, just kind of what DeMar was like when he was in San Antonio. I just kind of finished his book the other day, and he really spoke as to San Antonio wasn't necessarily the most successful stop of his career, but it's kind of where DeMar that is kind of started to find himself. And I'm wondering what Trey's experience was through that, and maybe what he has personally seen that he thinks DeMar can bring to this team. I think that's going to be a really interesting layer, is just what DeMar necessarily brings to all of this. But I'm excited for Trey's season. He had a bit of a, I won't say a down year, but didn't improve off of a really good first beam team season with the Kings. And I think this year is a bit of it's a bit of a weird season for Trey. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what happens if Trey has another season like he had last year or the one before that. If it's just, hey, Trey Lyles is a 7-point per game guy off the bench and he can shoot high 30s from three. It's a really good role player, but I think a lot of people want Trey to kind of advance. And, people want to have conversations of, why can't we have a starting lineup maybe with Trey Lyles in it? I think right now it just feels like that's a bit too much of a step back from the current talent we currently have. But I would like to think that hopefully we can get to a point this season to where we all feel comfortable with Trey Lyles maybe stealing some games at starting power forward.
Yeah, and Coach Mike Brown even discussed it. So you never know. All right, let's hear from one of the newest members of the Sacramento Kings, Jordan McLaughlin, and his thought process on signing with the Kings and what he's going to bring to the table. Here it is.
Out.
We are joined right now. Like we said, you can't move because you never know what could happen.
Nope.
We are joined by one of the newest Sacramento Kings, another one of the newest Sacramento Kings, Jordan McLaughlin. Jordan McLaughlin, thank you so much for joining us, man.
What's up? Appreciate you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, man.
So Jordan, we were just talking to Jalen McDaniels, and we said, hey, how's it been in Sacramento? And he says, it's cool, it's good to focus because there's not that much to do out there. And look, we let it slide because it happened so quickly.
Yeah,
What do you like about Sacramento and how much there is to do out here, Jordan?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been smooth. So me and my wife, we got up here a month before training camp to get all situated and settled in and, just get the lay of the land. We ventured over to Roseville a little bit.
Oh, nice.
So gone over there. But I'm still looking forward to getting to know the lay of the land. But it's been good so far.
Sure. I mean, we're going to ask you tons of questions about your new team here, but we got to ask you about the huge trade that happened over the weekend. Minnesota, your old team, makes a big move, ships off Karl Anthony Towns to New York. They get Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo back. What was your reaction when you saw it happen? And have you talked to anybody out there and kind of what's the vibe out there in Minnesota?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy when we seen the news break.
Yeah.
We were kind of stunned like everybody. But, it's part of the business.
Sure.
They made a business decision, and now they got to move forward with it. But haven't talked to many people that way. Like I said, it's a business and things like that happen.
Sure.
And, just roll with the punches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking to Jordan McLaughlin. Now, Jordan, between you, De'Aaron, Keon, and when Devin Carter comes back, we talk a lot about defense on the Sacramento Kings team, but you're looking at one of maybe the most ferocious defensive backcourt rotations in the league. How excited are you to get out there with Keon and De'Aaron, who led the league in steals, and just add to that dog mentality on the defensive end?
Yeah, it's super exciting. When you got guys that want to play both ends of the floor, especially on defense, you got guys that are in the passing lane, being aggressive on the ball. It makes it super fun. And when you get steals, you're able to run out in transition and get a couple easy buckets. So it's going to be fun seeing us get after it on defense.
Yeah, awesome. I'm curious, did you get to go out to USC at all this summer? It seems like Coach Musselman has really brought a lot of NBA players over there this summer. Just kind of what have you been your thoughts as a USC alum about what he's brought just over the summer, really?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't gotten a chance to get back over there. I tried to meet up with him one time, but he was still house shopping at the time. I think it was towards the end of last season that I tried to meet up with him. But I'm super excited. I've seen the things he's done in the past. He's changed programs around. And so hopefully he gets a championship brought over to USC.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously you and DeMar, how much do you know about DeMar coming in here? Have you guys talked before? Again, both being USC guys.
Yeah.
What's that relationship like?
Yeah, we're still building on it. I've talked to him, here and there when I was there in college and while he was in the NBA, and then, competing against him over the last couple of years in the NBA as well. So I haven't got to know him too much on a personal level, but just knowing what he's done for, USC, his community, himself in this league, and establishing himself, and just, ready to pick his brain. When we had a team dinner the other night, I was sitting right next to him, picking his brain and asking him questions and stuff. So super excited to be on his team.
Awesome.
Jordan McLaughlin, good stuff. One more for you before we go. We asked the same thing to all of the new Sacramento Kings. If you were to describe yourself as a player to the fans out there, what they're going to expect and what they're going to see night in, night out, how would you describe yourself? Because they're expecting 47% from three. I'm just telling you right now, 47% from three.
Can we get 50? Why stop at 47?
What are we going to see night in, night out?
Yeah, I got you. Now, just a winner. Whatever it takes to win, that's what I'm going to do. If I got to dive on the floor, if I got to be the best teammate on the bench, cheering my teammates on, pushing the pace, knocking down open shots, whatever it takes to win, that's what I want to do.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Jordan McLaughlin, great stuff, man. Good luck this season, and we hopefully talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, Jordan. Thank you.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation. Like we said, never know who's going to pop up as we get you through media day.
In the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey, movie fans, the sequel we've been waiting for is playing at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento. Joker, Fully Adieu, the IMAX experience.
2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
Joaquin Phoenix reprises his role and is joined by Lady Gaga.
Going crazy for you.
Experience this psychological thriller with heart-pounding audio on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen.
Let's give the people what they want.
Grab your tickets early for Joker, Fully Adieu at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seats today.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
Great stuff from both of them. Trey Lyles and Jordan McLaughlin. And Chris, for me, like we were talking about with Keon Ellis, Jordan McLaughlin, I think, is going to be one of those guys. We talked about the, was it 47%? 47% from three, just his ability to guard other ball handlers. You know, you can't mention it enough. But the Trey Lyles piece, as we broke it down a little bit, do you think, I wouldn't say this is last chance you for Trey Lyles at all, but Nate and I were discussing trade deadline deals the day that you were out, and we were trying to figure out, basically we landed on Trey Lyles being somewhere between a legit rotational piece in a deal and a sweetener. If it came to it, if for some reason that name came up, like he's not going to headline a trade, but at the same time, calling Trey Lyles a sweetener feels a little bit disrespectful as well.
Yeah, I don't even know. I kind of don't think I would consider him a sweetener. I think he's just kind of, well, I would say like, I think he's like, I don't think another team would get Trey Lyles and try and pose it as anything more than just like, oh yeah, he's an additional piece that's thrown in there. I don't think any team would build a trade around Trey Lyles. That would not be my guess.
So he would be right, well, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's that either.
I hear sweetener and I think it's like Keon Ellis to me is a sweetener.
Yes.
It's a name that, you know, it's not a high value contract or anything like that, but it is essentially something that is, hey, we couldn't throw a pick, but this is as good of as a pick.
Okay.
I don't think Trey Lyles is necessarily as good of a pick. I just think he would be, honestly, I kind of feel like he's more just salary, if anything, because I don't think it's a guarantee Trey Lyles. I think he probably would end up on any rotation he gets traded to, but I don't think it's a guarantee that he would end up on I think he would be a second player thrown in, and it would probably just be, hey, like here's another usable player for you.
Well, I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at, and I don't think it's last chance you for Trey, but I would say that we're getting to that point where, you know, regardless, unless he has a crazy year and he's a free agent after this, he has a crazy year and okay, we can have a conversation. He has a year like last year, and I do not think Trey Lyles is a Sacramento King again.
He might. I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think that they wouldn't necessarily look his way. I mean, if he's still as productive as he's been, it's definitely more of a conversation. Like I said, I mean, if he's going to just kind of be who he is, maybe you look at somebody who maybe has, or you feel like has a little bit more upside. But I think the guy he is still somebody worth keeping. And even if it isn't necessarily better than last year or the year before that, I still think that there's value for the Kings in keeping a guy like him moving forward.
But I would say that his similar, let's have a conversation like Kevin Huerter. The role would change to me. If depending on how things go, you're going to need, especially at the wing position, it hasn't been good enough. You need, if what they have right now, their collection of wings, if it goes like last season or similar, you're going to need to upgrade. If it's not Keegan in, or it's not DeMar DeRozan in, you need, and now you have Jalen McDaniels and Trey Lyles, you need somebody else that you can kind of depend on off the bench from the wing position.
Yeah, I would just think it's more of a Trey would be more of a 4-5, and it feels like right now he needs to be a 4 who maybe can play some 3 and hopefully can play some 5 as well. I just don't necessarily think that it has to be a make or break year for him. I definitely understand why it is, but I don't necessarily I could see him essentially. I think I'm more saying I could see him being Alex Len, where it's like, it's not that we're thrilled with what we got, but we'll take him back because we know what he is, and what he is definitely good enough. But so I think I'm kind of living in the middle of what you're saying, and then kind of just twisting it a little bit. But I think we're pretty much on the same track.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Trey. We're just hoping for health. That's number one, because you can't get a good gauge if it's just a down year. Then it is what it is. If it's a down year riddled with injury, it's hard to get a gauge. And a guy that, we're trying to see what you can be. And we also need you to, you're still in the state where you could be improving, but that's not happening because you got to consistently be on the floor. Right, and that's what he said. He said, I got to, that's how we started the interview. I got to, I have to stay healthy.
Yeah, he's got to. I mean, it's been a really strange couple of years. I mean, he went from, really feeling like he was a really big piece of the Kings bench in that first Beam Team season, had some really good games in that Warrior series to start it off. And then last year, it was just a complete dud, and I think he's definitely capable. He's still young in his career, right? He's still under 30, so there's still hope that maybe there's more to his game that's there. But if you don't start seeing improvements here pretty soon, even I, who I like to think I'm a really big Trey Lyles fan and supporter, I even have to wonder, okay, I want him to be something else, but if he's just never going to be that, and he is just going to be this, which is a really solid player, I just feel like, if the Kings are going to have potential championship aspirations, I think maybe if Trey doesn't show improvement this year, you might have to think about, okay, maybe we do actually have to get better, and it's not just about holding serve at that position. We actually need to look at that position as a spot to actually get better at. It only time will tell, and I think Trey definitely knows that as well. As he's not just playing for his Kings tenure, like you said. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. He's also got to show other teams that, no, I am definitely at the least a rotational player. I'm not somebody who's going to come in and, we hope that he can find a spot. If you're bringing Trey Lyles in, he wants to prove this year that he is definitely a playoff rotational piece.
I'm looking here, Chris, just as a comparison, and we talk about the finals and teams trying to get there. So I'm looking at the Mavericks roster, and I'm trying to look at who their Trey Lyles was. So obviously you had Luka, who started, Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway fell off, and his dad wasn't happy about that. PJ Washington, who started, and then the Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively thing kind of went back and forth. Then you get to the Derek Jones Jr. He started 66 games, so he was a starter for them as well. So I don't know, maybe, and how much we believe in the Mavericks is a different conversation, but I don't know. Maybe I'm overselling that position, and hey, nobody has just a complete stud as your third wing coming. There's just a line to everything. I'm just trying to figure out if we should look at Trey as somebody good enough for the role that he's playing if the Kings do have finals aspirations.
I think so. I mean, I think he's definitely capable of being good enough. It's just really, it's a matter of if he's hitting his shot or not. I think that's kind of the thing that we saw a lot last year. If he's not hitting his three, he's just not, I won't say he's not very effective, because he does do a good job of still battling in the post. But if he's not hitting his three, it's really tough to find, okay, this guy is really proving the value. And like that, really that's what his role is going to be, is to stretch the floor as the 4 or maybe even as the 5. And that's really the thing that he just has to do. If he's not scoring maybe 2 threes again. I mean, yeah, especially in the playoff basketball, you got to get him around 5 to 7 points per game just to kind of get a consistent threat off the bench. I think he's more just, I think Trey ultimately determines how good the Kings bench is. We know Malik is going to be a monster off the bench. We think Kevin Huerter can at least produce a little bit off the bench. If you can get good enough production out of Trey Lyles, the Kings can have one of the best benches in the NBA. But if you're going to get a whatever season out of Trey Lyles, I do think that kind of equals like the Kings bench has a couple players, but it's not really an asset. It's not a weapon that they can use. Whereas, if Trey is, shooting 40% off the bench and he is just maybe a much lesser, but compact version of what Keegan brings, that's maybe where this Kings, just as a team, you say the starters are ridiculous, and then they have all these guys coming off the bench that just pick up right where they leave off. I think that's maybe where Trey can make his biggest impact, is just being a knockdown shooter this year.
This is from the 916. Lyles is average at best.
Yeah.
Why do we constantly overvalue our players in Sacramento? Gets
not just Sacramento.
So old. That's you took the words out of my mouth. I don't. Number one, it's not just Sacramento, and number two, I don't think it's an overvaluing thing. I think everybody's going to look at and hope for, especially at the beginning of the season, the best version of that player.
Always.
That's what you have to do. You're not going to assume they stink, right? Now, I think with us assuming the best version, Chris and myself, we're not calling Trey Lyles, we're not calling Trey Lyles.
Definitely calling him average.
Yes,
right? Yeah, I think we're just trying to figure out which side of average, if he can fall on one side of average.
If you are a C, which is average, it doesn't feel like it when you're in school, but are you a C plus, B minus, or are you a C minus, D plus, or are you just a C, right?
Yep.
And I would say last season, Trey was closer to a C minus, if we're being honest, but part of that is injury.
For
so
sure.
you got to be healthy. But 916, I mean, you could turn on, don't do it because you're listening to us, but turn on any other sports station or just any other fans of non-Sacramento teams. I mean, they're doing the same thing with the Bay, with Brandon Pajemski and Jonathan Kuminga. They didn't want to move him for Lauri Markkanen, right? So it's not just the Kings. I think that when it comes to role players, and by the way, a couple of years ago when he got that during the Beam Team season, he had a good season.
He did. That was probably a C plus B minus season.
That was a B minus season. Yeah. So now we have to figure out, very similar to Kevin Huerter, was that the exception to the rule, or is that who you're going to be on this team? There are a number of, and we've put Kevin Huerter in the same conversation. There are a couple guys on this team where it's time to pay the piper and figure out what exactly you're going to be. Let's switch back over to the gridiron. Mina Kimes talking about MVP Purdy. Trust me, I would not mind that at all. And the Lions are Niners Super Bowl. We'll talk about it when we get back. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Meta Chevy Silverado Blowout is on with $12,750 off MSRP. Every new 2024 Silverado half-ton LT in stock after rebates. Or choose $12,000 off MSRP on every new 2024 Silverado half-ton RST in stock after rebates. Exclusively at Meta Chevy at MetaChevy.com. Sacramento's Silverado headquarters. Whatever Silverado you choose, you'll save thousands at Meta Chevy. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers. List radio 2010 model year or newer. Ends 10/31/24.
Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com. Hey, October's already heating up on the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. Enjoy family fun at Dave's Pumpkin Patch in West Sacramento all month long. Pick your perfect pumpkin, navigate the corn maze, jump on a massive jumping pillow, and create unforgettable memories for the kids. On October 20th, don't miss Renee Vaca at the Crest Theater for a night of laughs and entertainment. And mark your calendar for Sinners and Saints, the region's best Halloween party on October 26th at the venue at Thunder Valley, complete with a $5,000 costume contest. It's the most spectacular event of the season. Looking ahead into November, join us for Legends of Motown at the venue at Thunder Valley November 23rd, bringing you the classic hits that defined a generation. And you're not going to want to miss the Jersey Boys Midtown Men Holiday Show December 8th, also at the venue at Thunder Valley. It's going to be a night filled with festive cheer and old school classics. And stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for all your live event updates and your chance to win tickets.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all.
Model year-end savings are going on now. It's savings you just can't say no to.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Nate is, I'm sorry. I just got to be honest here. We have this sound from me at times, but I don't know what's going on. There is a beef. We talked about Domantas Sabonis and Draymond Green. I don't know what Nate did to this texter.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
so
what's going on?
I was going to call you in during the break, but it's Friday.
Yeah, no, let's do it on air.
So I'm not going to read off all of them.
I wonder if it's someone I know.
So basically this texter from the 916 started just kind of coming at Nate.
Just read it. Read the first one.
This is how it started.
Okay.
The texter from the 916 says Nate is dumb. And we were trying to figure out, I mean, sure, but what tipped you off on that one? You know, what specifically? So then Nate comes in here because I have to tell
I didn't even talk in like the first 2 segments.
So then after I actually didn't tell Nate at that point in time. Then after that, the 916, as we were playing the Draymond stuff, says Nate would stomp Domas's chest.
What?
That's crazy.
So at that point, I said I have to tell Nate.
It's just targeting. I don't know what I did.
So Nate, it gets even more bizarre.
Yeah.
So Nate comes in, and Nate doesn't know any of this. So now we're doing this
Well, I
live.
responded.
So
on the
Nate
text
comes
line.
in and responds and says, "You are going to make me cry," and then says that's from Nate. And then the 916 says, "Nate, who is your pick'em of the week? #Bengals Nation." Nate goes back in the room. He does not have access in the room. So Nate didn't respond. Well, that ticked off the 916. So then the 916 goes on to say, Nate drinks Diet Coke with a straw.
Wow.
Then they say,
what?
Nate only talks to girls from USC. Not really sure how that's a
What is
bad thing.
what is all this nonsense?
And 21 minutes ago, Nate enjoys complex carbs.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so all of this, first of all, this person's a loser, whoever this is, texting. This is nonsense, unoffensive. I know I'm responding hard, but I'm just confused. And when I get confused, I get mad. So what?
Yeah, what's up, texter?
I have a theory. It's because for like 2 weeks in a row, I said, just don't pick the Bengals. I was like anti-Bengals. Maybe that's it.
Anti-Bengals.
But I'm sorry. The Niners beat the Bengals twice in the Super Bowl. Is that what he is upset about? Like,
I don't know. I don't know what type of beef you got going on.
Coke with a straw is crazy.
Diet Coke.
That's insane.
Diet Coke.
That's insane. That's 99% fizz.
Diet Coke.
I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's someone I know.
I hope so, but it does not seem like it.
Well, it's like very weird shots.
This
it's
is what
not
916
personal.
says. They just responded.
Oh my God.
Nate is cool. The Bengals suck.
Yes.
It's because Nate picked the Panthers over the Bengals for the 30K pick'em. Allen with 1 L.
I didn't.
I guess Nate added another.
I didn't do that.
Huh.
The 30K pick'em this week?
Yeah, we didn't pick the.
Or 2 weeks ago?
We never picked the
last
Panthers.
week. Yeah, no.
Why?
No,
why on
you know
earth
what?
would you? I just said don't pick the
you
Bengals
said
no matter
don't-
what.
Yes, you said don't take.
Yeah,
the
so you
Bengals.
stay away
so
from 'em.
maybe did they lose? And they're saying if I had picked the Bengals, then I would have won.
Dude, I don't know what's going on
I don't
here.
know. It sounds like blame shifting, though.
Yeah, that sounds like something
There's
I would.
nothing
do.
It sounds
worse
like-
than when somebody puts their own money down and then blames somebody
Yeah.
else for them losing.
So
money.
maybe they lost, and the Bengals would have got them to dub.
This also seems like somebody was coming in hot.
But you know what?
And then they get attacked and they start to reel.
We picked the Niners though.
We did, yeah.
So
we totally
this
did
isn't
that.
unless
This is so
unless there are
unrelated.
multiple pick'ems going on here.
Also,
And
the
then we got another one we're
Bengals.
picking later too.
Where's Sacramento? Like, oh, it doesn't even. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, confirm, guys. Just to confirm. This is not the number from the Survivor League
Yeah.
we've been helping.
No, because
This
that
is
guy's
something.
cool. Or woman.
This is something that I almost said Alan because his name is Alan. But yeah, Nate, come on, man. You cost this guy.
Yeah.
916,
Yeah.
we didn't even tell you.
We definitely did not.
We
tell
did
you.
not sanction that pick.
No, I said never.
He
And if-
trusted you.
Yeah, I don't
He
know why.
trusted
That's
you.
the thing is, I don't know why he picked Nate to try. If we
Yeah.
did do any sort of picking, I don't know why he picked Nate to follow.
When did they play? 2 weeks ago or
That's
3?
what
No,
I'm
no, they played last week,
Okay.
and we all picked the Bengals.
And this is out of nowhere.
I think the craziest thing is we all picked the Bengals. Nate just said, we were talking to somebody else about their survivor pool.
Yeah.
And this 916 tried to ride, and I guess they probably couldn't take
And
the
I
Niners.
said just don't pick the Bengals as your one win this week.
Yeah, sorry 916.
And I'll say that
And
every
where
week.
are all these 30K? So that's a pick. So that was a
No.
pick'em league. Where are all these 30K leagues
Oh, well,
at?
my biggest gripe is the first text from him was just Nate is dumb.
Nate is
Yeah.
dumb. It's
And
crazy.
just why?
Yeah, we don't mind if you tell us we suck. Just give us context.
Why?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what's
yes,
bothering
yes,
me. I know
yes.
I'm dumb and I'm stupid, and that's
But
fine.
why this time?
Yeah, but like, what happened?
Wow, great. Just
That's
great.
It is
stuff.
kind of funny just to say that.
Maybe you
though.
can get back. Maybe you can get back in it 916 some way.
Yeah, maybe. And don't listen to me.
Yeah.
You're
that's-
kind of
that's
dumb
where you
for
went.
listening to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blind leading the blind.
Great
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't know anything.
Great stuff, 916. All right. You know who does know something? That's one Mina Kimes.
Yeah.
And she had this to say about Brock Purdy and how well he's been playing. Here it is.
Can I say something about Brock Purdy? His season right now, compared to last, is such a great example of why quarterback stats are bullshit. Because he is playing the best football of his career right now, in my opinion. When you watch the tape, I see more impressive plays by him this season. He is really good at making plays outside of structure. He has been accurate throwing downfield. I have been so impressed by him this season. And I just wanted to say that because I really haven't talked about it that much. And it's like, last year, he's first in, EPA per play and QBR and success rate, but it doesn't matter. Those are team stats.
Watch the film.
The tape. Watch the tape. I am telling you, he is playing excellent football at the moment.
Brock kind of plays quarterback the way that I would live life if I knew I was immortal, right? Like, because Brock is just invulnerable, right? He can't die. Like, it's Kyle Shanahan offense. We're always gonna have an explosive somewhere. We're always gonna move the ball.
Yeah.
So like, Brock is doing the quarterbacking equivalent of just walking through traffic, right? Like knowing that just like everything's gonna bounce off him. All these deep balls, like they are accurate and they're incredible. They're unbelievable catches.
Yeah, they're also really good catches.
Right.
Yeah.
He just keeps on pulling the slot machine and coins keep coming out. It's crazy.
Well, that's why I'm not saying like Brock Purdy's carrying his team on his shoulders. 'Cause
Exactly, yeah.
that would be also false, right? Like, I mean, God, George Kittle had a catch. I think he mossed 3 dudes, right? Do you remember? Like, that was insane. But also, Brock Purdy is right to throw him that ball because he's George bleeping Kittle. So.
And previous Shanahan and McVay quarterbacks, Stafford notwithstanding, would just be quivering, terrified in their boots of making a choice, right? Like, I can't throw the one-on-one because what if I was supposed to throw the dig and it was supposed to open, right? Brock right now is just like YOLO yeet and just launches throws.
YOLO ye.
That guy sucks. Who is that guy?
That's
All right,
Ben
now
Solak.
Nate,
That's Benjamin
now,
Solak.
now Nate is ticked.
I will say Benjamin Solak is like Kyle's age. Like Benjamin Solak is like 26 years old.
That's funny that you dropped
know
Kyle's name there.
Well, I mean, Kyle's like crazy young. He
Yeah.
does remind me of Kyle
He's like
in
15.
many ways, but yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. Benjamin. He also Benjamin Solak looks like he's like 12 years old.
Well, at the very end there, I got not with what Mina Kimes was saying, but with Ben when he said he keeps pulling the slot machine. I feel like some Niner fans out there are going to say,
"Oh, they did not like that. They did not like that.
There it is.
He's lucky. He's getting lucky, and he gets to walk out into traffic and is unafraid of what's going to happen because it doesn't matter what Brock does. It's about the play." And, I guess in a way that is kind of what they're saying, but it's more just that Brock is playing with the ultimate freedom because he understands the playbook. He understands KYP, know your personnel. He knows his teammates better than anyone. And I think that's just more what they were highlighting is that Brock has such a meta level understanding of what's going on with this Niners offense specifically is that he feels untouchable. He feels like no matter what I do, everything I touch is going to turn to gold. And I think that's maybe what the true brilliance of Kyle Shanahan is just making a quarterback feel like you have really no bad options as long as you are putting it in playmakers' hands. And that's kind of what I heard from it mainly.
I saw this. It was basically, and we might, if we have time, we'll play it, but we can also just kind of describe it. It was one of Brock Purdy's number one haters, Steven Ruiz, going back and forth during a podcast, and I saw this thing, and I heard him essentially say a stat I've never heard before, guys, and maybe it's just because it's a thing and I've missed it. As everybody is saying, oh, he's under pressure and he's still producing. Steven Ruiz says that Brock leads the league in pressures created by the quarterback. And that was him saying basically that Brock has so much time based on his weapons and what Kyle Shanahan does for him that he's not playing with fire, but just kind of not messing around back there. But he's creating the pressures and he's looking for different types of things, what he can find. Yeah. He's saying that he has so much time. He's creating the own pressure. And the argument was between Brock and Kyler Murray, and a lot of other quarterbacks don't have that luxury. But as we know, Steven Ruiz is kind of a Brock hater. Yeah,
that sounds like you're really, really stretching to try and find something that is negative for Brock. And you want to talk about cherry pick numbers. I just have never, ever in my life heard anyone say pressures created by the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's definitely a new one. So if that's what Brock is really struggling with this year, I think that probably is a good place to be.
Well, speaking of struggling, this next segment. So something came out today. There's a bit of news to get to. So essentially, Ted Karras from the Bengals, he came out as the player rep to explain how they're looking to update how locker room media etiquette works, right? So we have that sound. Kyle Juszczyk mentions a reporter who has been on this show, and he then says, maybe we can keep this guy out of the locker room. I don't know what the timing was, Chris, based on that text and this other audio that we have from Debo specifically ignoring this same reporter when he asked him a question. Now, these things aren't completely connected, but they are in a way, and I want to get into it before we start top stories at the top of the hour. And that's what we're going to do next. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-627-0188. 800-627-0188. 800-627-0188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You've seen him on the roast of Tom Brady, and you've heard him host the #1 podcast in the world, Kill Tony. Now see Tony Hinchcliffe perform stand-up comedy live at the venue at Thunder Valley, Friday, October 11th. The man behind millions of views worldwide and countless sold-out shows brings his stand-up set to you, Tony Hinchcliffe. Critics call him a must-see. Don't miss this stand-up comedian, writer, podcast host, and professional wordsmith live in Sacramento. Tony Hinchcliffe. Get tickets at ThunderValleyResort.com.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles Watkins. Hour 15 left with you. And the NFL Players Association put out a statement. Over the past 3 years, the NFLPA has tried to work with the NFL and Pro Football Writers of America to move media interviews out of locker rooms. However, there has been little willingness to collaborate on a new solution. Players feel that locker room interviews invade their privacy and are uncomfortable. This isn't about limiting media access, but about respecting players' privacy and dignity. The NFL's current media policy is outdated. We, the NFL Players Association Executive Committee, urge the NFL to make immediate changes to foster a more respectful and safer workplace for all players. In the meantime, we encourage each player to ask for interviews outside the locker room during the week. That is the statement on behalf of the NFL Players Association Executive Committee. We have sound here from one of the player reps, Ted Karras, because I got plenty to say, but let's hear from Ted Karras first and what he had to say. And funny enough, Chris, he's giving this interview from the locker room. Here it is.
Are you? Yes. So as you've heard from a couple teams now, and the NFLPA is going to come out with a statement in an effort to protect the sanctity of the locker room and the comfort of the players. Each team is going to figure out a program to where we conduct our interviews outside of the locker room. Now, this doesn't bar you from the locker room. We can't do that. But what we want to do is get cameras off guys in private moments in our locker rooms. So I've been working with Emily, I've been working with PJ, and I'm going to work with you guys to figure out the best solution so that you guys get the content you need, the sanctity of the locker room is protected, and this is what our membership wants, to feel more comfortable in a private space that is the locker room. So if you guys have any questions about it, please come to me and ask. We want to make this as smooth as possible. This is not an indictment against you. This is what our membership feels is best for the players.
That was Ted Karras of the Bengals. And you have Torrey Smith, friend of the show, who an hour ago after the statement came out said, if only y'all knew how awkward some of the male reporters act. I can't say exactly what he said. Straight junk watchers. We'll say it like that. Straight junk watchers. I'm going to kick this one off, guys, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know. Like I said, I've never played pro or anything like that. I don't believe that there are a lot of cameras, even at the highest level of college, in locker rooms. But I'm going to put it to you like this, guys. As somebody who always wanted to be in media, maybe, just from being in locker rooms myself, I always thought it was weird. I'm gonna be honest with you. And it's not just in the NFL and in all the sports. I really just didn't understand the urgency of it and why it can't wait until they get outside. And that's from me going back from when I was a kid. I never really understood why is this happening in the locker room. I never really got it.
Yeah, it definitely is a strange thing that feels like if it was never a thing, it would have been hard to make it into a thing, if that makes sense. Like it's one of those where we've done it this way, and so that's kind of the way it is. But I will say maybe just from the reporter side of things, because I have heard not necessarily about this specific issue. This is definitely more of like a privacy and how many times has there been like a video of NFL Network had the post-game speech of the owner giving a football to somebody, and there's 3 naked guys in the background. And it's like, I get why that is definitely something that we want to try and stray away from. But just kind of talking to reporters, more so from the King side of things. And again, not necessarily about the privacy issue, but it's more just they being the reporters view it more so as look, it's our job to give the insight into what exactly is literally going on in the locker room. Like we get that access because that is a very important part of trying to tell the story of the season. And so just to use an example, like if the Kings lose to the Warriors in that play-in game, it'll be really good to know what the Kings locker room emotion feels like. And I think that's why it's important to get the reporters in the locker room, is so that you don't get the 15, 20 minutes later, them dealing with all the emotions, walking out to the podium and maybe presenting something that isn't really how the locker room felt. Maybe the locker room was awkward. Maybe the locker room was actually pretty joyous because it was a successful season in their eyes and they got as far as they could. Or maybe the locker room was a mess and people are pointing fingers at each other and blaming each other. I think that's why the reporters would say it's important for them to be in there. And I think the Bengals, I assume that's their PR person.
No, he's a player.
He's part of the NFL PA.
Yeah, he's a player.
Yeah.
The way he was talking, I definitely understand why they say, and he really wanted to emphasize, this is not about like trying to take away your access or anything like that. It is literally just so these guys can change and feel like they're not going to get exposed on the internet and embarrass themselves in front of everybody. Maybe it is. I don't think this is a perfect solution, but maybe the answer is just no cameras in the locker room. Like maybe it does go a little bit back to the good old days where you have your tape recorder, you have your audio machine, and that's all that you get out of the locker room. Because
the phone thing, it's so scary.
You only get the sounds.
I literally didn't even consider the phone element of it.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, I feel like I sound like a lot of fans right now. I'm just not really sure what you just said, Chris, and everybody fans differently. What you just described with the Kings, and if they had lost that play-in, and you have Brendan or Frankie crafting an article, I'm not saying I know this for a fact. I'm just wondering at this point in time how much fans care. I don't know. I don't know how much that changes a fan's perspective, because somebody got in there immediately and, oh, good. I'm glad to know that they were sad after they lost, or, okay, this is the perspective. I'm not saying it's bad perspective. I'm just saying in this day and age, I have no clue what fans
I don't think
care
it has to be a bad thing, though. It could be, in that game, in the locker room, we were in there. And who was the first person? It was dead silent. And then Keegan Murray stepped up and gave one of the best speeches I've ever heard in my life. And then that becomes something that you talk about Keegan Murray for the rest of his career is, hey, maybe it's a sliding doors moment, or maybe it is the opposite. Again, maybe people point fingers at each other. Maybe somebody says, hey, Harrison Barnes, you're supposed to be the leader of this group, and it didn't feel like we were mentally ready for this. And I think that's the part that's important, is it crafts the story, it tells the narrative, and I'll tell you, fans might not, but like it's going to be the narrative going out of that story. And so like ESPN's going to care.
I know. But I guess my question is whether or not that should always be part of, it has been part of the product, right? Does it have to remain part of the product? And what gets lost if that was no longer part of the product?
If they said, hey, that's just not part of we're not offering that part of, if the NBA is a product, we're not offering that part of the product anymore.
I truly think that that's when the sports league fails. Because that's when if you only care about your games, that's how you become based. Like nobody cares about everybody, especially in basketball, which
I'm just talking about the immediate. I'm talking about the immediate. They still do their availability.
Yeah.
But it's just not in the height of everything.
But it's not as dramatic. Like, again, if De'Aaron Fox goes to the podium and he has a measured statement about how this is a learning experience, whatever, and that's the takeaways, because that's the only perspective we get is Kings are taking this as a learning lesson. But then in the locker room, it's a complete madhouse, everyone yelling at each other. That's not really what again, drama is what pushes the NBA forward and forward.
I just think it's a funny situation because essentially those situations.
It's entertainment. I think.
No. It is right, but it's also it's like it's a gotcha. Yeah. You're essentially going in there looking because of that emotion that you're dealing with. There's going to be gotcha situations where Jamar Chase, a lot of times, he might say something that, 5-10 minutes later, he wouldn't have said that. And now NFL says, you got your content. We're also going to fine Jamar Chase $20,000 for what he said. So I just think it's a funny cycle to me.
I just think you're focusing on the negative, though. Like there's positive things that can come out of it too. Like I think, the negative stuff is definitely not great, but I just think that it's all part of what makes people so crazy. Like, I mean, NFL, people love to follow this thing tooth and nail. There's people who just follow it from a surface level, but there's people who know injury reports like the back of their hand. Like, I just think that it's all access is good for the growing of the sport and for the brand. I don't see, and that's not, again, they're not trying to take it away. But I just think that it's the reason why the media is going to push back. I don't even know if they are going to push back, but
they can.
Their value, the reason why the media says for anybody who is just like, this is absolutely, it seems like an easy foregone conclusion. It's that the media is going to push back because in their eyes, if you take away the locker room access, frankly, I mean, it's kind of a slippery slope. Like it becomes you're cutting off our locker room access. Okay. Are you going to start to cut what else? Where does it stop? Like, you say, hey, this isn't about barring you from the locker room. It's just about getting them, the time to change. Well, what if the time changing, what if it really takes you guys 10 minutes to get changed? But now you say, 30 minutes. And then conveniently when you walk in there, the quarterback who didn't play so well, he ended up sneaking out the back door.
Yeah, it's just a matter of what, right? And it's a cycle because if you're going to get paid this money, it's really who controls what the league owes to the people? Because if the league controls it, can't the league say this is what we think we owe you, and the media can't really say no, that's not. You know what I mean? Like, what's the fight between? Who are they going to answer to?
I mean, there's unions. I mean, the media's got unions too, and they're going to fight for what they believe is going to, because you could definitely argue from the media side, they're preventing us from doing our job, is from telling the entirety of why we're here, is to tell the true story of what happened. And it's going to be a mess. It's going to be the Players Association probably going against the NFL, the NFL going against the Players Association, and the Players Association probably going against the Media Association. I think it's going to be, it's not going to go down easy for sure.
Yeah, I'm be honest with you. That NFC Championship game, I was there with Emil, Sacktown Sports 49ers Insider. That was the first time ever that I was in a locker room, and it's just not for me. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's just weird. I don't know, man. They're in towels. It's just, I get it. You need the immediacy, but I'm not built like that. All right. Top stories at the top of the hour when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Hey, movie fans, the sequel we've been waiting for is playing at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento. Joker, Fully Adieu, the IMAX experience.
2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
Joaquin Phoenix reprises his role and is joined by Lady Gaga.
Going crazy for you.
Experience this psychological thriller with heart-pounding audio on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen.
Let's give the people what they want.
Grab your tickets early for Joker, Fully Adieu at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seats today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now that fall is here, now is the perfect time to head to Stockton and check out a new Mercedes-Benz. I had the opportunity just last week to drive an all-new S-Class 550, and let me tell you, it was a sweet ride. The moment I hopped in, I felt like I was in a world of luxury. From the steering wheel to the seat cooling and even the power of the engine, I was impressed. And then, of course, when I hopped in my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, I felt the same thing. So hurry in and take advantage of the Mercedes-Benz incentive bonuses up to $15,000. And they have tons of pre-owned vehicles as well, including C-Class sedans, GLC SUVs, and a whole lot more. Take it from me, you won't be disappointed. So take the short drive down I-5 to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or online at mbofstockton.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
We have hit the top of the hour. Yeah, and Chris, let me just, and obviously we have friends in media, and I'm speaking from my perspective. People need to get in there. They want to get their information.
I like that song. Sorry.
It was Nate was making me laugh. People need to get in there.
It's a Friday.
This is a very Friday show. I'm proud of us. People need to do their thing and get that information. I'm just saying, it's always, before I was in media, I've always thought, this is interesting.
Because I remember I was telling you during the NFC Championship game, they let families in first because they're celebrating going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the media was just ticked off. And I'm stuck thinking, it's their family, man.
Yeah, you're like, come on. You could understand. Yeah, I mean, there is, and yeah, I mean, that was also not really my feelings or thoughts on it either. Like, if you're asking me to walk in there,
yeah,
I'm not going to be the first one in there. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you is I'm going to be in the background, just getting. Yeah, I'll get the back of the scrum. I don't need to be all up in there.
We're about scoops and sources.
I was horribly uncomfortable in there.
It's
I don't want to
very
see the guy. Yeah, it's just weird.
On accident,
you literally have to be desensitized to it. Like you,
Yeah,
it's just
not.
it's not a normal. I mean, it's just not. It's not a normal.
Well, it's weird when it's someone
environment.
you watch all the time
Hey,
too, and then
You can't look at them the same. It's the same, but that was me. I think this is when we were split up. But Chris, when you came in for crosstalk, and I was talking about the Olympics, and the outfits in the Olympics, you got,
I don't recall.
there was just a little bit too revealing for me.
I think we talked about the cardboard beds too.
So you're talking about a guy and Allen. I can't even deal with the revealing onesies. Yeah, obviously I can't do the locker rooms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were calling that guy all natty. I remember now. The pole vaulting guy.
Pole vaulter.
Because we're talking about steroids.
Sometimes, yeah.
That was a good show. That was a good show.
All right, let's get to top stories at the top of the year. I'm just saying, man. I don't like.
I'm good too.
This is from.
I'll leave it to Brendan and Frankie. How about that? We'll let those guys. I was gonna. Never mind.
This is from.
We'll let them fall on the sword. Also.
Okay.
I know. I didn't want to use that phrasing.
Sounded like you kind of did.
I didn't, but I was like,
yeah,
it's good enough. It's a good enough line.
Okay, this is from Chris Cartman of the Sun Devil Source. This is about Antonio Pierce. Rough week for Antonio Pierce. Yeah. Starting to make me. So I don't know. I was rocking with Frank with the Raiders beating the Broncos, but this has been a bizarre week for one Antonio Pierce. Breaking. This is from yesterday, Chris. Antonio Pierce reportedly took recruits while he was at Arizona State. Reportedly took recruits to a local gun shooting range and directed staff to drive recruits to a local bowling alley and arcade. Pierce and others, including Regina Jackson, took a recruit's parents to a strip club with recruiting staff per the NCAA. And you had it, Chris. He is now what? The ban is 8 years. So he has an 8-year ban. So if it doesn't go well for Antonio Pierce in Las Vegas, he cannot go back to the coaching ranks, at least for the next 8 years. So you remember that show? I love talking about the show Best Week Ever for VH1.
Yes.
This might be one of the worst weeks ever for Antonio Pierce.
So 8 years seems a little long for taking families to strip clubs, right? Like it's wrong. Like, 8 years is crazy, but I think part of it too has to do with COVID, doesn't it? Isn't that why the ban hammer was dropped so hard? I believe that was part of the report. So I don't think you want, when COVID is running rampant, to be
so you're saying it wouldn't have been as bad
if
it wasn't during COVID.
Yes, exactly.
Well, what part of COVID were we in if the gentlemen clubs were open?
Well, it's also Vegas. I went to Vegas.
Was it Vegas? Because this is at Arizona State.
Oh, you're totally right. Wasn't even considering that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, these are all questions not for us. These are all hypothetical.
The desert's a different place.
Hey,
that's
man.
all I'll say.
The desert is.
I just don't want to fall on the sword.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody does.
Do that.
No.
Okay, Chris, you had this one.
Place,
looks like the Guardian caps are actually working.
Yeah, this is an interesting article that the NFL actually dropped. So who knows? I mean, I would assume all the numbers are real, but it's just they're trying to make themselves look good here. The title of the article is "Innovations in Player Safety Help Drive NFL Preseason Concussions to a Record Low." The fewest number of concussions in practices and games since tackling began. Tracking, not tackling.
Mm-hmm.
Since tracking began in 2015, there were only 44 concussions throughout the preseason. I think that's actually pretty well considering it was a month of play. 44 is not bad. at a nearly 50% reduction in concussions among players wearing the Guardian caps mandated during mandated sessions versus pre-mandated average. So that's good just for people who say, oh, the Guardian cap looks pretty dumb. Is it actually helping? Looks like at least 50% reduction in concussions for those wearing those. Lower extremity strains remain down by roughly 25%. That's good because that's kind of the counter to the concussion argument is I think Gronk famously said, I would much rather you aim high for my head than aim at my knees. And that's really something that a lot of especially tight ends do subscribe to. They say, I can kind of play through a concussion. I can't play if you Rashee Rice my knee. I can't if you're going to tear my ACL, that's definitely going to do more damage, at least in the immediate, than a concussion. Also, 70% of kickoffs were returned in the preseason, with the injury rate on returns decreasing by 32%, and more closely aligned with the injury rates on run and pass plays. That was obviously the big thought of the dynamic kickoff, was that you're going to slow those guys down. They also said that there was a decrease in the percentage. Let's see here. 70% of kickoffs were returned on the play. Approximately 32% injury rate decreased, and play was slowed down 20% on those kickoffs. So it seems like all the things that the NFL is doing, at least in order to improve the safety of the game, they're saying it's really check, and check as far as the kickoffs, the Guardian helmets, and the lower extremity injuries in the NFL just throughout the preseason. Of course, there's been tons of injuries through just the first month of the season, so it'll be interesting if they give another report on that. But so far, I guess so good for the NFL preseason injuries.
That's great stuff. That is great stuff right there. And yes, do they look funny? Yes. Let's just be honest about this. You can see them from a mile away, maybe even further than that. But if it's helping the safety, then that's all that we really care about. All right, next, speaking of safety, I don't know how safe this is going to be, guys. Ocho Cinco and James Harrison. Ocho, he's going to be front row. Yeah, Ocho Cinco and James Harrison agreed to an MMA fight before the Super Bowl. I feel like that was hot in the streets, speaking of COVID, around that time period and a little bit after that, and then it went away. And now I guess it's coming back, right? These random ex-athlete celebrity fights. So they're back again. And I don't know, Chris, we were talking about it before the show. What does before the Super Bowl mean? Is that on Saturday night? Where will this thing? Yeah. Where will this thing happen? Yeah, in Europe or something?
I'm sure Shannon Sharp didn't mind people in the locker room.
There you go. Okay.
Also, this fight definitely cannot happen. Like, there's no...
He's so much bigger.
Yeah, there's a 0% chance they can meet at any sort of weight class. Like, James Harrison is an absolute unit, and Ocho Cinco is, incredibly... Like, he's, ripped, but he has no body fat.
It's quickness versus...
100 pounds lighter.
Versus girth, I guess.
Yeah, MMA is it's not good. If he
dangerous.
he lays on him, he could just elbow him in the face.
This is getting to be
It's not going to be an interesting fight either.
Boxing is one thing.
Yes.
Boxing is one thing. Okay, here is the trash talk on Twitter. Chad Johnson, I'm going to beat your bleep in round 1. So don't worry about the other 4. I'm standing on business.
They're doing 5 rounds?
I'm standing on business with 100 emoji. James Harrison, you not going to be able to stand once I get done with you. Okay, and now we're going back to the locker room.
Is this just like Ravens-Bengals beef? Is there actually something here that's we can actually go off of? Or?
I don't know.
There's no way this is happening. They're not going 5 rounds either. 5 rounds is literally championship rounds for UFC. There's a 0% chance in their first amateur MMA fight they're going to go 5 rounds. That's insane.
Yeah, and 2 more Bay Area. Well, I guess one is Bay Area, one is not. Marshawn will be the celebrity picker at game day. Obviously, Marshawn, one of the most famous Cal alum. He's got that video of him on the physical therapy cart and all of that. He was on Pat McAfee promoting it. So if you are going to be in the building tomorrow, like I will be, maybe you will get a glimpse at one Marshawn Lynch. He was in Cuba teaching people the Thizzle dance. He's been all over the place lately.
Where was he on that list?
He was number 1.
He was number 1.
He was number 1 on that list. And last but not least, Chris, there was the A's held a presser, and this is from Susan Slusser, just some quick updates. They say the A's, they do expect the A's payroll to increase this offseason. They hope free agency improving team and want to help team to next level. That is how it starts. This is with David Force, and he is asked about the emotions of the past month or so. He says he's gone almost a week without crying, so obviously it's been very emotional. And just one more for everyone: no artificial turf installation has started yet at Sutter Health Park, but Force mentions that they do still expect it to be artificial turf. So not yet, but
I will say Slusser also puts out here, this was about an hour ago. She says, Kotze says the decision on artificial turf, quote, has not been made. And Force confirmed. And then Force said the A's have talked to MLB about getting out of Sunday Fox window at home games for heat reasons.
Interesting.
So there you go. They're already worried about the Sacramento Heat.
So is there turf? Is there no turf? Is there a season or not?
Is there access to the locker room?
That's all
These are the questions.
That's all we need to know. Coming up next, it's time. Get your pens out. Get your pencils out. Okay, there we go again. NFL picks coming up. And at the end of the show, we help out our 916 get that $33K in that survivor pool. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
She used to meet me on the side.
Khalid, live in concert. See him performing at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. Get tickets now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss the sensational Khalid for one night only at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. For more, visit KhalidOfficial.com.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
So Chris Watkins has made this thing very official. He has printed out paper to help us pick our teams. He's also printed out injury status for the different players on the different teams. And I'll still find a way to probably be last this week in the pick.
On the injury front, too, at the Niners, Fred Warner wasn't practicing for a majority of this week. Him and Kittle are both at practice today. So
Yes.
This is pretty new.
There you go. Thank you for that, Nate. Let's get on into it then, because we know we have a lot to cover.
The best time of the week.
Nate loves this time of the week.
This is where I get all my hate, I guess.
So Chris, based on this, are we ditching? Do we need to say the spreads? If we're not using the
I
spreads.
have the spreads. I have them all here. I wrote them down.
Okay, you have the spreads.
Just to recap last night, too, if since we're
down.
here. Me and Alan took Atlanta. Chris took the Bucs. I thought Chris had it last night. I turned the game off
I
after
sure did
Kurt threw
too.
that pick.
You know, Bucky Irving, if he didn't fumble, I would have won.
Yeah, and then they gave it to him
Bucky
again.
Irving really just didn't do you guys any favors.
No, he can go somewhere. He
All right.
can shove it. He can go in the locker room. For all I care.
All right, let's start here. New York. I just caught that.
Come on.
I was looking at my paper, and that's all
I was looking at your pencil.
New York Jets at Vikings. Who you got, Chris?
The London game. It is a London game
to pick.
This is absolutely terrible. I hate London games more than anything. We talk about Thursday night football. London is maybe the worst thing. I'm going to try and get up early for it, but last time the Vikings played in London, I got up at kickoff, went back to sleep, woke up at halftime, went back to sleep, and woke up to the Vikings blowing the game-winning kick. So, or they made it. I really don't remember. I just remember there was a game-winning kick opportunity. I'm going to go Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings in this one. You know, I think I just think that they're the better coach team. And when you go to London, I just think it's weird. You know, you have to kind of arrive on Tuesday. You're jet lagged. It's the Vikings have the experience of playing in London. I don't know if Aaron has played in for the comfort. And you know, if they win, then I win.
I really want to go with the Jets, but since I'm trailing a little bit,
2.5 point favorites the Vikings are.
The reason, you know, and I feel like a good rule we've been using is who is desperate. And I do think the Jets are desperate, but
that hasn't been working for me.
Has not for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Minnesota. I don't think I can take a chance right now.
3 for 3 then. I feel like this is a toss-up. I have no clue. I do think Minnesota's the better team right now.
Minnesota is the better team right now, but it's London, so you never know. Okay, next we have Carolina at Chicago.
Chicago 4-point favorite.
Nate, you start
Sorry,
this
I'm
one.
getting these in here. Oh man. So Carolina at Chicago, this is by far the toughest week I think we've had. So I mean, week 1 anomalies, all that happens. Yeah. This week going through
a lot of close spreads too.
Yes. And these first 3 games are very tough to pick. Like Chicago's favored by 4 points. It's in Chicago. I just picked Carolina just because I think I don't have a good reason. I picked Carolina.
It's the 3rd highest spread of the week at 4.
In Chicago, at Chicago. I mean, Caleb Williams has looked better. I think it was just a Raiders random win by Carolina. They're not very good. I wouldn't be surprised if they won because I don't know how good the Bears are, but I'm going to go Chicago.
I'm going to go Carolina. I think Chicago hasn't really impressed me at all offensively. That line is terrible. And I think Carolina actually can move the ball with Andy Dalton under center. And I think Chicago just has looked really underwhelming. I think they're hoping to have Keenan Allen suit up this week. I feel like Carolina has a nice little sneaky potential here, and the Bears favored by 4 feels like it's just too much. I think too many people are just on the Caleb Williams hype train.
You know, it does make sense because they beat the Raiders and they lose this next one where you think, Carolina doing something? And because a lot of teams, Chris,
they competed with the Bengals.
There's not going to be a lot of 2-win teams. So a lot of these teams are going to get to 4. And if you get to 4, this is how you get to 4. But I'm going to stick with the Bears because both of you went with the
bless you
Panthers. Next, you have the Ravens at the Bengals. I'll start off because you guys started off the last ones. I feel like the Ravens have been trolling me, but I just don't know what the Bengals are. I do know that they're desperate, but I'm going with Baltimore.
Both are desperate. Both should be better. And both quarterbacks are playing very well.
I would say I trust Baltimore's defense more
in
than the
Cincy.
Bengals defense.
Chris, what's the line?
It is 2.5 Ravens favored on the road.
I went Baltimore.
I went Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati has played well. They just haven't gotten results. That Chiefs game goes differently. They're the same record as Baltimore. I think it's a little bit of been overblown, the Bengals' struggles. I feel like they can get it done against the Ravens, who I think are starting to feel like they figured things out, and I think that this might be a humbling week for them. We'll see, though.
Next, we have Miami Dolphins. Watching this.
Do we have to?
Watch it.
Do we have to?
Miami Dolphins at New England Patriots. Can I get my money back from NFL ticket for this game? Hey, can you just give me $3 back for games I don't want to watch?
I'll get an extra preseason game.
Yeah.
Actually, to just kind of get this.
Can I roll this
off
over
my
to League
screen?
Pass or something?
Please.
I'm just gonna start and say New England because I don't think Miami can move the ball on offense literally at all. Like I don't think they could get 200 yards of offense.
New England's a 1-point favorite.
I'm torn on this one because, again, this is that they stunk, right? They stunk. Miami stunk so bad
Terrible.
that nobody should pick them. And I actually have New England checked off on my sheet. But I'm going to go Miami. I'm going to trust that Mike McDaniel has figured some things out this week. It was so bad, guys. It was so bad.
I think this could be if they lose, New England loses, then it's Drake May time.
It has to be.
Has to be.
You cannot lose to Tyler Huntley after the performance he had last week. Not that that's, super necessarily 100% on Jacoby if they lose, but yeah, I mean, they're really, what are you doing as a team if you're losing to this Dolphins team? And that's why I have Miami winning. I just think Miami actually has some skill position players that they can get the ball to just in different ways. They didn't do it last week. I think they were hoping Tyler Huntley could actually be a semi quarterback, but I think they're going to get a lot more creative in just giving the ball to Tyreek Hill, whether it be in the backfield or through screens and things like that. Devon Achane. I just think the Patriots are terrible. I don't think they have much of any talent at all. I think Miami, actually, now that I'm looking at it too, it has shifted. Miami is the 1-point favorite now, and I'm gonna lean into that and say the Dolphins.
In New England, too.
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick? I know we got to go quick here, but Miami. Did we see one go route to Tyreek Hill? Just chuck it.
For what it's worth, also, lowest spread of the week by far. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing how low this spread is for the over-under. 35.5.
Oh, my goodness.
35.5.
Don't watch.
Niners-Cardinals is going to be that in the first quarter.
Yeah, don't watch. Cleveland at Washington, taking the hot hand. And I told you guys this dude was going to be a stud. I've been saying it for a very long time, Jaden Daniels.
Pull the tape.
I know, I'm kidding, but he looks like a stud.
He looks great.
Commanders.
I'm going to rock with Cleveland. I think he runs into a wall. I think the hype dies. He's still a rookie. He's still a rookie on a mediocre team at best. So that's it.
And if you don't think the Cardinals very good, then sure. At least their defense.
Yeah.
Chris?
I'm going Commanders. I think the Browns are terrible. I hear you, Nate. Maybe Browns are a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team. 1 week they're one thing, next week they're completely different. But they lost to the Raiders without Devontae Adams and Max Crosby. I have to believe with how Jaden Daniels is playing that this should be an easy one for the Commanders. 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to go Commanders.
Coming up next, we continue our pick'ems. Will Alan Stiles get back on the board, or will Chris and Nate continue their hot streak? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
A handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Made Chevy Silverado blowout is on with $12,750 off MSRP. Every new 2024 Silverado half-ton LT in stock after rebates, or choose $12,000 off MSRP on every new 2024 Silverado half-ton RST in stock after rebates. Exclusively at Made Chevy at MadeChevy.com, Sacramento's Silverado headquarters. Whatever Silverado you choose, you'll save thousands at Made Chevy. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers. Less in 2010 model year or newer. Ends 10/31/24.
Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named the top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue, Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all.
Model year-end savings are going on now. It's savings you just can't say no to.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins. 30 more minutes with you.
More Bay hits.
That's right. Thank you, Nate. I'll be back in the Bay tomorrow. Chris, what was the pizza place I need to go to?
I said Artichoke Pizza. Really good.
Okay.
Solid.
I used to go to Sliver when I was out there.
Verlaud and Jason were shouting out another pizza place. I can't remember what it was. I think it's a pretty popular one down there.
And can I just say, I'm getting flashbacks now because that was basically right after I finished school. It was, I mean, I can only imagine what some of these huge schools have going on for them. I mean, you talk the lunch every day I wasn't even getting paid. I was just an intern. And we would get, whether it was pizza, whatever it was, Chris. I mean, it was that Pac-12 life. It's a good life, man.
Can't wait to find out.
It was a good life.
Can't wait to find out. Sac State coming soon.
That's right. It's a good life.
Yeah.
It's a good life. Atlantic 10 life, it was cool.
A-10, you know.
It was cool, but Pac-12 life, they figured some things out. All right. Thank you for that, Nate. That was essentially the Dave Chappelle wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Sound. Okay. Let's keep it going. I actually don't have this one checked yet, so I'm just going to do it live. Indianapolis.
We'll do it live.
At Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not going to go winless, right?
They are 3-point favorites.
I got them too.
I got Jacksonville. They can't go winless.
Y'all have no faith in Joe Flacco for what it's worth. Anthony Richardson is questionable. I don't think Anthony Richardson is going to play. I think it's going to be Joe Flacco. And let's not forget, Joe Flacco was the quarterback of a playoff team last year. Colts looked really good last week when Flacco went in. I'm a believer. I will. I got him checked confidently. I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, the Jags almost beat the Texans last week in Houston. They're close.
I think they'd put in Anthony Richardson just because they don't care about his health there. If they're going to have him get smacked right after he gets hurt. I not believe they did a designed run last week after the man gets hurt. Like the next play comes back in and then gets kicked out of the game. So who knows?
Speaking of that AFC South, Houston is hosting Buffalo. Now, who wants to go first on this one?
I will.
Oh, I haven't marked this one.
Houston is a 1-point favorite at home. I'm honestly shocked. I think it's Buffalo. I've really liked how Buffalo's played. I remember a couple weeks ago, we were wondering if maybe the Texans were a little bit fraudulent because they lost to the Vikings. They didn't look great against the Bears. They barely beat the Colts, and now they barely beat the Jags. I don't know. I mean, their 3 wins are Colts, Bears, Jags. Are we sure that we think that they're going to beat the Bills, who have actually looked like one of the best teams in football? Not me. I'm going Buffalo.
Not me.
Yeah, and for the people if you want me and Chris to disagree here, it's not going to be on this game because I'm still on the Buffalo train. Houston just hasn't looked right to me. They almost lost, like I said, to those Jacksonville Jaguars. And, I think the Bills, they caught primetime Lamar and the Ravens. They like to show up there. I'm not getting off the Buffalo Bills train just yet. I got the Bills.
I'm going Buffalo. Their game plan travels well to Houston. Buffalo Bills.
But, if Houston loses this one, they're on fraud watch to me. Next up, a tough one. Las Vegas at Denver. Tough because I don't know who's going to watch.
It's been almost 700 days, I think, since the Raiders have beat – or since
the other way.
The Broncos have beat the
So
Raiders.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the Devontae drama. Yes, they rallied last week. Can they rally again? You got to go to Denver, who's won 2 in a row. Nate, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah. I think I'm going to take
Denver 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to take Denver. It's in Denver. Sorry, Raider Nation.
3 now,
sorry, Frank. I know Frank's got it figured out this week. I don't know where he's putting his cheese, but I'm taking Denver.
We definitely know where Frank's.
By the way, I saw they got rid of the Friday dance party the Raiders did last week because I think they got embarrassed by the Panthers. Friday, the dance party was back, and Max Crosby was out there dancing and feeling good, so he might play.
I'm not familiar with that at all.
They end practice with the little dance party on the field. And Max Crosby was doing the Soldier Boy.
And for that reason, I'm going Buffalo. I'm sorry, Denver. You're not going to be able to tell the difference this week because they're going to run them off the field.
All right.
Because apparently
Bo Nix is going to hit the Soldier Boy.
Dancing off the field. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take Denver. I already had Denver crossed as the winner of this one. I just have no faith in the Raiders. I just don't. Now it's almost like I need to commit to it because I'm not trying to have a mustache.
Do it, Alan.
Yeah, there was a soft hold call that really negated the Raiders from losing that game. You get Max Crosby back, but in Denver, they're due. I just feel like that stat that you just said.
You're not going to ride with your guys?
I can't afford to. I'm going Denver. And I have Vegas checked on here. Wow. But, yeah, I don't know. Too much weird Antonio Pierce stuff. I'm going Denver. Okay. Next, Arizona at San Francisco. Is anybody not picking
the
me?
Niners?
Okay.
I think it's a high-scoring game, though.
Yeah.
7.5.
Nate says take the over. Unless you're 9-1-6, don't take it 9-1-6.
Don't listen.
Don't listen. Green Bay at LA. I'll go Packers here with my boy Jordan Love on my fantasy team.
Yeah, Packers 3-point favorites on the road. I did want to consider going LA. I could see them kind of playing spoiler, but even last week when the Packers didn't play well, particularly Jordan Love especially, he ended up throwing 4 touchdowns and looked really good to end that game. So I do think the Packers can at least be better than the Rams. They played well without Jordan Love, with Malik Willis at quarterback. It should be easy enough to take down the Rams. We've seen how inconsistent they can be this year.
Cheeseheads.
Ooh, don't put it like that.
Next on the list, New York Giants at Seattle Seahawks. It looks like Malik Neighbors is not going to play. Also looks like their running back is questionable. Right. It's Seahawks.
In Seattle.
Seattle 7-point favorites as well. Second biggest spread of the week.
They're not going to cover, but they will win.
57 degrees on Sunday in Seattle as well. I don't
get out there. They're throwing the fish around in Seattle. You know how they throw the fish.
Looks like it's going to rain too. Yes, at the fish market. In
Seattle, how they throw that fish?
They throw that fish.
Throw that fish.
I'm trying. Yeah, I still think Seattle should win. They have the better run game, have the better pass game. They're at home. Like you said, no Malik Neighbors. It should be an easy one for Seattle. But, I feel like Seattle, we talk about it all the time. They seem to never play regular football games. So maybe this will be a nail biter and it'll come down to the end. I could definitely see this being like a 19-13 kind of game where it's just it's a scoregami kind of game.
Yeah.
We're going to get a brand new football score on Sunday. I'm calling it. This is going to be the one.
And go ahead, Nate.
This is where you guys have a chance to really get me. I'm just not all year. I'm never going to take the Seahawks. I'm taking the Giants, and I hate the Giants. Like, I don't think they're good at all, especially without Malik Neighbors.
It's so bizarre.
I have to take the Giants.
I don't police fandom, but just bizarre. Would you? Let me ask you this.
I picked the Packers.
Let me ask you this.
We're not the same.
Would you pick let me ask you this.
I don't.
Would you? I want to see how deep your fandom goes. Would you pick the Giants if there was money on the line?
Whoa, how much? I wouldn't put the money like.
If this was a pick'em league, and if we had money on this pick'em league, would you pick the Giants still?
I guess not. I don't even get Seattle players on my fantasy team. I just don't mess with it. I just don't mess with it.
For what it's worth, too, I'm seeing Ian Rappaport. This is not for this game, but for that Rams-Packers game. Ian Rappaport says Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson both doubtful. Cooper Kupp is out.
Okay. We'll make it fair.
There wasn't much question about Cooper Kupp playing this week. It was kind of loose rumors. But, if those two receivers – by the way, Christian Watson looked like he snapped his leg the other day. So I'd be surprised if he plays. I think I definitely think that could change things, but I still feel like Green Bay is going to get it done.
Last but not least, Dallas at Pittsburgh.
2.5-point favorites. You'd be surprised.
Steelers?
Yeah. 2.5-point favorites.
I'm rocking with the Steelers.
Nate?
I'm rocking with the Steelers.
Oh, he doesn't have his headphones.
Oh, he doesn't. Yeah, because he just fell.
I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. Undoubtedly. I refuse to believe in the Steelers. Paid off for me last week. I actually think the Cowboys can move the ball on them, and, we'll see. I mean, I know Micah Parsons, I believe, is supposed to be out for this one. But I still think the Cowboys are a good team, and I think the Steelers are a bit of fool's gold at 3-1. So I'm going Dallas.
Last but not least, myself, I'm going Dallas. Easy enough. Nate, you have all those recorded?
Yes, sir. They're all down, and then we'll do Monday on Monday.
We'll do Monday on Monday. Coming up next, we got a little prop talk for you. I'm feeling good about this prop. I think it's going to be a very offensive weekend.
The Survivor, too.
Don't forget. I'm not, Nate. I'm not.
I'm just so excited.
I know. And we have the Survivor pool as well. And from Nate's bestie, the 916, Nate is cooked when Chicago wins over his darling Panthers. This guy and Steph, they're only fans.
Okay, that one was really good. I'll take that one.
All right.
All right.
Shout outs and closeouts as well. Shout out to the 916. Survivor pool and prop talk coming up next. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown. CMC.
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
It's finally starting to actually feel like fall outside. So you know what that means. Time to get to Kohl's for cozy, comfy, and cute outfits. With their friends and family sale, I saved 20% on everyday styles that I can't wait to wear all fall long. Plus Iron Kohl's cash. But don't take my word for it. Get to Kohl's and discover fall faves for yourself. Select styles. Offers end October 6th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Wow, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Kyle Draper. Drapes for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now is the time to buy or lease a Mercedes-Benz van for sale. They have Sprinter vans. You could turn it into a worker cargo van, a worker passenger van, or just a plain old passenger van. They are fully customizable. And one of the things I love about their Sprinter vans, because trust me, I had a chance to check them out myself. I hopped in the Sprinter van, and you guys know I'm a big guy, right? Well, I was able to stand up head to toe and fit perfectly. So if you're interested in the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van for your business or just your personal needs, now is the time to head down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They can help you find the configuration that best suits your needs. Plus, you can take advantage of the huge tax breaks before year's end. Take the short drive down I-5 or go online anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com, and tell them your boy Drape sent you.
The presidential general election is November 5th. All registered voters will receive their ballot in the mail. Check to make sure you're registered correctly at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 800-762-8019.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
$15 more minutes. All right. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. And Nate, you can keep something. It doesn't have to be the football music. It can be anything you want.
Do you guys have preference or?
Dealer's choice.
Okay, but it's always my choice.
Chris is the dealer. Dealer's choice.
What kind of vibe do we want?
Wavy, maybe like
wavy.
That's always your vibe, Nate.
Yeah.
Can we go with like?
You're gonna have to give me a second, but I can get.
Can we do? There's a good instrumental I wanted to use for. I wanted to use it for a different segment, but I guess we can use it for this right now, just as maybe a tester. Remble Touchable. If we can get that instrumental.
Remble, he's the guy who had that trend where it was like, I've been blocked and crocked in socks. That song, you know what I'm talking
Possibly.
about? Yeah.
He's got some really funny lines.
Touchable?
Yes, Touchable. It's kind of got the Hell's Bells going on, and it's a hard beat. Oh,
instrumental.
Yes, definitely the instrumental. We'll probably get a DJ tag in there if I had to guess, but as long as the DJ tag is clear, I think maybe skip it to like 20 seconds or so. That should be past the tag.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I don't know if that's going to fit the vibe, but it's going to be it's a pretty intense instrumental. You know, it hits.
I'm gonna get this started.
Okay.
For prop talk, and I've been wrong anyway, so I might as well try to make back some extra cheese for someone.
Yeah.
And this is perfect because today's the day, or Sunday's the day, guys.
Hear that cash? Come on.
Brandon Ayuk's getting into the end zone.
Oh my God.
The demon.
Oh no.
Extra spicy.
Oh no.
Caliente. Brandon Ayuk's getting into the end zone. Book it.
Okay. So what? It's set. Is this an actual one, or are you just saying?
Book it.
No, he's got it.
I'm booked. Probably cooked.
I also have Brandon Ayuk. I hate to admit it. I really hate
Oh,
to
you
admit it.
did?
I also have Brandon. Not a touchdown, though. Not a touchdown. This is crazy. 4.5 receptions.
They're being disrespectful.
He had 5 last week.
He did. And I just have to believe that one of these weeks is going to be the Brandon Ayuk week. Why not this week?
Mm-hmm.
We'll go 4.5. It seems like a pretty low bar to climb. Hopefully he can do it.
So Kyler Murray, he did play the Niners last year, but he didn't play for the first matchup.
Yeah.
And then the previous year, the previous year, I don't think he played them all in 22 at all. He plays pretty well against the Niners. Averages about 220 yards passing against the Niners. His last game, week 14 against the Niners, he had 260 all-purpose yards, and that was a blowout, 45-29. with that said, Kyler Murray's overall yards pass rush is set at 256.5. I'm going to take the over.
That feels very low.
Yeah, and
I
I
can
think
get like 60 rushing.
yes, very easily, because this team struggles, especially if Fred doesn't play. That's tough. Devondre Campbell is old and doesn't move very well.
You guys have said too that the Niners tend to struggle with running quarterbacks.
100%.
Yes.
And Kyler Murray fits the mold perfectly.
To a T.
Perfectly. I think the last game he played, he had 49 rushing yards.
I now regret my pick too, with how the Niners have defended these past couple weeks. A Marvin Harrison
bomb
50, 40-yard catch is almost bound to happen.
100%. Yeah, I would say so too. But I don't know. They've been starting out early, but they can't sustain. I'm also looking. Brock has hit his 255.5 the last 3 weeks. The only thing that worries me about that, you either take Brock yards or you take Jordan Mason rushing yards.
Right.
Because one of the two is both probably won't hit. So if you think the Niners are going to eventually take care of business, Jordan's going to get that rock late.
Yeah.
So
I know what this song would be good for when we have to put a team to death for the playoffs.
That's what I wanted to do it for initially. But I was like, it's fine. I can't find a Marvin Harrison deepest or longest catch, but
so far,
if you can find that, I would definitely look for that, because that is honestly one of their plays. Is, hey, Kyler, throw it up to Marvin Harrison and see if he catches it. It's a really good play. They ran it in the second week of the season 3 different times, and it worked every time. They did it last week too, and it resulted in the touchdown. I just feel like it's the best play that the Cardinals have offensively is throw it up to Marvin and hope he comes down with it.
I will say I'm looking at this health. I'm not seeing Hufanga at all on this, so that I don't know. He's not the greatest coverage guy, but if he's in there, it'll be harder to get that done. Demo Lenore's been having a pretty solid season, and Travarius Ward is always very good. So
let's see here, and I'm getting. I see here that Hufanga's not going to play this week, even though he is cleared to practice. They said on Monday that he won't play this week.
Huh? Why is he not? That's weird.
I popped up on the injury report Friday with an ankle injury. Will not play. Yeah, I think. I'm not sure why, but yeah, from what I'm reading, yeah.
Since Chris also took Brandon Ayuk, you had to make a decision between Jordan Mason, or I felt like you had to make a decision between Jordan Mason and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy hitting his passing yards and Jordan Mason hitting his rushing yards. Guys, I mean, his numbers have been crazy. And the one week that he didn't hit was 7. He was 11 yards short. Jordan Mason was. Even to that point, Nate, they both did hit last week against New England. So it is possible, but I don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to hang with ultimately we'll be able to hang with the Niners. So we have the Brandon Ayuk one for fun, but also give me Jordan Mason rushing yards. 88.5 just feels like he's going to get that.
Yeah, I love that. I should also say the Hufanga thing that I read was for last week. They're waiting to see. He practiced yesterday. I believe he's scheduled to practice today. They will know more about his status for Sunday after today's injury report. So still no official word yet on if Hufanga will play this week.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Now, I do have, guys.
I'd like to correct myself, too. I think last week Ayuk only had 2 catches. It was 2 weeks ago he had 5.
2 weeks ago, yeah, he had 5. Yeah.
So, guys, there's an update as we get your shout-outs and closeouts in as well, 916-339-1140, and the Sack Chat as well. So we have an update right now, just came in from our Survivor Pool friend. Our services are no longer needed.
Friend, not Nate's friend.
Not Nate's friend. Okay. Our services are no longer needed. Okay. 916 says, my friends and I debated this week's pick. Maybe we had to get it in yesterday before the week started. That's probably what happened.
I mean, we're still going to do it anyway.
Yes. My friends and I debated this week's pick for an hour yesterday. We made the crazy decision to go with the Falcons. It was a heck of a sweet win last night. I'll keep you guys updated next week, hoping for a Chiefs loss. Who dat?
Well, I'm glad he's still in it.
So he's still in it.
Okay. And I specifically said, don't take Thursday night games. They're just too scary.
Yeah. So initially from the 916, they said leaning towards the Chiefs, cannot go with Hawks, Chargers, Jets, or Niners. Other options, Bears, and Commanders. So we didn't even have Falcons on the docket.
No.
But doesn't matter. 916. Glad that you got that taken care of. So let's go through the exercise anyway, guys.
Why not? He said he couldn't go Seahawks, right?
So here are the 3 teams that he was leaning towards if he went with them. Chiefs, Bears, or Commanders.
What are the teams that are off the board?
The teams that are off the board: Seahawks, Chargers, Jets, or Niners.
Okay, Seahawks, Chargers, Jets.
So just choose between the Chiefs, Bears, Commanders.
I had the Bears and Commanders losing in my picks this week, so I still don't like the Chiefs against New Orleans. I don't like that at all.
We didn't do that.
Derek Carr's been pretty good against the Chiefs when he was a Raider.
This is our hypothetical $30K on the line.
Yeah. I might go Jacksonville.
To pick an 0-4 team when
yeah, it's crazy.
With 30K on the
line. I mean, I'd probably go Commanders over Browns. Record-wise, that feels the best, and you're riding a hot hand. Commanders are at least at home, so you have that built-in safety. I think that's probably – I mean, yeah, if you can't go Niners, can't go Seahawks, those are the 2 biggest spreads of the week. I'm not touching Steelers, Cowboys. Packers, Rams, again, I would think Packers, but we could see the Rams being squirrely and being annoying. Broncos, Raiders, way too close to call. And like you said, Nate, this is probably the toughest / closest matchups we've had so far this season, definitely in terms of spread. So I don't know. I mean, I would go where you feel most comfortable, but I'm glad that they got through the week because, yeah, this is about as tough of a slate as you're going to find.
Yeah, this is – yeah.
I'd probably lean Commanders. That'd probably be where my pick would go.
What about Buffalo?
But even then, you know, Buffalo's playing a 3-1 team.
Yeah.
I mean, no game is a good one. It's all confidence, all how you feel.
The thing about the Panthers – or the thing about the Browns to me is that, and I know Nate said it hasn't really worked out, but it's the desperation.
Sure.
It's the desperation.
But we're right here again because we've done this. This is deja vu. We've done this several times where it's like, it's just the desperation. They're going to be desperate. They're going to win.
But I feel like that's worked besides the Jaguars, though.
I guess. And I'm the one picking the 0-4 Jaguars.
Yeah. You are the desperation.
Yeah, I'm very desperate. It's a toughie.
It's a toughie. For the hypothetical 30K. Yeah, you just got to ride the hot hand, and if Washington cools off, it is what it is.
Yeah. That's how I view these things. I just want to be as least upset as possible by my pick.
Just a down payment on a house here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Chris is going to go with Washington just for fun since they already won their week. I'll go Chicago.
Okay.
Caleb. Give me the nails.
All
Let's
right.
get it done.
Shout-outs,
closeouts. Yeah, I'm going to give a shout-out to somewhere where I helped out. I worked for a little bit when I thought I was going to be an athletic director. It's really awesome to see Cal Berkeley getting a lot of shine, man. And by the way, I wouldn't do it, but someone out there should hammer the Golden Bears tomorrow. So shout out Cal. I'll be out there for college game day. Maybe I'll run into Marshawn.
Yeah, I am not touching that one. I'm going to, also shout out the game tomorrow. Hope everyone has fun. Hope to see somebody out there. It should be a good time. Hopefully we can get back by 1 o'clock a.m. Also going to shout out some high school football this week. I'm planning to go to one game me and Matt George's high schools are going against each other.
Okay.
I think we're going to make it out to that one. Folsom versus Oak Ridge. We know Mike Brown's going to be there at that game today. That's a good one. You have Vacaville-Vanden.
Okay.
Those are 2 local rivals there. Sac High at Rodriguez. You have CB Christian Brothers at Wood Creek. And, you got Lincoln at Bear River as well. So a lot of good high school football action locally if you're not doing anything on a Friday night.
Nate?
Okay, I know you guys made fun of me last week for shouting out Kayla 2 weeks in a row.
You're not going to do it.
No, I think it's been more than 2 weeks in a row.
We're just not going to ask you anymore.
Okay, well, I have to shout out their family, the Favela Jennings family, because they're going through it right now. They're going through it. They're having some problems, and Kayla's out of town, so I'm shouting them out. Is that too much? That's too far?
Never with you, Nate. Thank you to all the Sack Chatters. Thank you to all the texters, callers. Congrats to all of our winners this week for the Mike Epps tickets. Enjoy yourself out there. You have the Drive guys up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, and Jay Johnson. We will be back on Monday. And until then, secure the bag, light the beam.